titties. Check, check, check. All right. So I'm going to be trying to fix the compression on my mic. It is far too loud. I see your face. I can't hear you, Steve. Just heads up.
I'm Aurora. Dude, that's really loud. Is it loud for you?
Ish. Are you talking about the music?
No, my voice.
It's not too bad. It's normal to me.
Okay.
I'm just trying to fix the compression on here, and then we can get going. I'm gonna do a couple more mic checks.
Press, can you send me the link to the game?
Yes. Hold on, before I do, I gotta bring up my trusty link protector. Whoop. Don't panic. Shazam. I'm going to set you. Let's see, Balasar Dardarian. Let me find his. All right, there you go. Should be able to control him now. Targaryen, Dragonborn. So you want to play him, and then I'll take care of Zedek. Because like I said, I haven't heard from Moo one way or the other. But Joey, I'm about 99% certain he's not gonna be able to make it. Okay, your other one set up, Steve.
Yeah, I've got Sarah's computer set up, so she's just wrapping up with the kids real quick, and
Okay. Understandable.
and then getting my computer set up now.
Level 1. Okay.
Did I get in level?
Hey, will you go grab my glasses?
Let me look at it.
Preston.
What?
Will you go grab my glasses?
I believe it by the end of the night, yes, we will level up. If nobody dies. Just gotta leave that out there.
My
One sec.
bow.
Right back.
They are either in the bathroom, on my side, or on my nightstand.
Grab Sophia's.
Oh, yeah? Grab me the puff thing. Back there.
Are you not gonna pay attention?
No. But later on tonight, I'm going to need.
Instead of paying attention. Yep.
No, I'd like to get that out now. I don't have to.
I was drinking so good. Some?
Don't go on that?
I just came to help you.
Is everyone repaired?
Would you be able to turn down the music just a bit?
If you go up to the cog, it'll let you turn it down.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, okay.
It's the baby.
Kiss
Much
the
better. I hear
baby.
now.
Yep. Otherwise, I gotta go in and turn everything down. So I find that's easier than people don't want to hear it at all. They can turn it all the way off.
Get the dinosaur.
We're in the halls of the Dwarven Kings.
You gonna go get the dinosaur? Or did you want some soup?
I also need to get my...
You want some soup?
Oh dear. It's gonna be one of those nights. I'll be right back. I gotta go grab the iPad.
Right here. No. No, we will stop.
Are you in Discord yet? I just hadn't talked to you yet, so...
Alright. I'm in the channel and everything.
Okay. Just making sure.
Careful, Penny. Don't want you to fall over and get hurt. I hear everything!
Becca, do you have any extra pens by chance by you?
Yeah, I do. Pick a color! I don't think they're actually any.
I'll just take the regular Bic pens. Be great. Thank you.
Nope. You can have it.
iPad's dead. Thanks. You want me to promote it on the stream?
Your pen?
Far too cute. Jamberry nails.
Oh.
Okay.
I gotta go chase that baby. I'm gonna have it a drink.
So, can you see my screen? Or can you see my webcam? I know, Corey, you can't because your webcam's disabled, but... Steve, are you there? I got a new fancy book. Keep my notes in.
Almost there.
Okay.
Can you get my grapes, please, in the freezer? Hey, you're getting no cookie. You understand that, right? Does that mean you're gonna have to go to your bed too? Be in trouble for the night? So we're missing 3 people.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
yes, we are missing 3 people, but, yeah, Fitz isn't, or whatever's, Nathan, he wasn't there last week, so he's not in the actual dungeon. So it wouldn't matter. I could write him into it, but I'm not gonna
But we're still missing.
bother if he's not gonna be here. You what?
We're still missing 3 people.
Yes, we are missing 3 people, but Corey's gonna stand in as Balasar. And that way, because I know that Fitz is otherwise ill.
Fitz?
Yes, Joey Leckby.
What about
I don't know. He has not responded to me. I've put the messages up all week, but nobody responded except for Steve and Fitz. Well, no, I lied. Nathan responded to me.
You knew that would be here.
Yeah, so I guess not everybody. Oh, that's a grand gesture, I guess. I don't know. So, fun story. Corey, guess what?
What?
I found a new push-to-talk key on my keyboard that doesn't screw with everything. The pause break key.
What the hell is that key, Preston?
It's the one next to scroll lock. And
Oh gosh, that's
fun fun fact, because I have it on my mouse. Like right now you can see I'm using my thumb to talk to you.
okay.
But I map it to my mouse. But it's the key that when you're running stuff in the command console, the only thing it does is it'll stop the execution of the program and let you see what's going on. So, how many games do you think have that in it? None. Yeah.
You know, I put it to my comma key because that's where my thumb sits for my space bar, so it's right above that. It doesn't interfere with anything.
You put it in the freezer.
And comma's not used for anything in any game that I know of. So
True.
why would you put a clear over there? Like you have to go
It
with
used
your
to-
hand.
But I don't. That's why it's on my mouse. I never have to touch it.
Oh, it's on your mouse. You're just mapping it to be the pause
Yeah.
break from it. I got
Yeah.
you. Just mouse or map it to be the mouse whatever key.
That's what I did, but when it's on mouse 4 or 5, when you're in a web browser, it goes back or forward or back, and it's really annoying. Or if it's control,
Don't you have-
it zooms.
uh,
Also equally annoying.
Hello.
Hello!
Don't you have the Naga though? So you should have like 30 buttons.
There are 30, but there are, but they're mapped to the numbers 1 through whatever.
Oh.
So I get crazy. All right, so bringing you up to speed, Moo. We are waiting for Steve and Sarah. They just got back. They're getting in. Joey is ill, and so he will not be here. And so Nathan's also not going to be here, but that's okay because he's also in a different part of the story plot. So I think we're going to be good.
Jeff made it.
Corey's going to stand in for Mr. Balasar. Yes! I don't have to NPC anybody. Love it. Okay, so I'm writing down roll call.
Not here.
Real quick, just because I'm being lazy, if everyone could tell me your AC for me and your, if you have any spells, your spell DC, real quick, please.
Balazar is 13. Hold on. Actually, people need to redo their AC because of the change.
Oh, you're right. Okay, there was a change to Roll20. If everyone can open up your character sheet.
Never mind. It's gonna be 13.
Oh, there's a change.
Yeah, they update a bunch of stuff, so now you
Really uncomfortable. I thought I'd sport a hat since you were. I want to be cool too.
I can dig it. If I get really close, it's my Marvel hat. You can see
Nice.
Iron Man, and
Nice hat.
it's my favorite. All right.
AC.
So what's
You just like it because it's in your head.
that's true. It's one of the very few hats that actually fit my big skull.
That's actually why I like this hat.
Right?
All right, so
Open up your
is
character
the
sheet.
change already applied or?
No. Yeah, so basically what it is Roll20, they rolled out a new feature. So instead of having free form where you can type in your features and traits and languages and stuff, you actually can connect it to what's in the compendium, which is nice, but it's kind of annoying for our intents and purposes. So what you need to do, open up your character sheet and go to where your armor is. And what you're going to do is in your items section, he doesn't have all his items yet. That's okay. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it.
My armor class drops. No.
Yeah, your armor class drops. So what you got to do is you got to dump your armor that you currently have. So like let's say you have leather armor, just delete it from the list. Go up to the eye on the middle of your whatever the compendium is what I'm going to call it on the right-hand side of Roll20, and then type in the search bar leather armor or whatever armor you had, and then just click and drag that armor back onto your list. It'll automatically add it, and then you'll see your AC go back up. There's a little lock icon at the very bottom right of that list. Click on it, wait a second. Once it comes up, then you can go ahead and hit the delete button. Just do it a little bit slow. On my machine, it's got like a half-second lag time, and if you click too quickly, it deletes more than one thing.
And I drag it to where?
You just drag it over to the list, and everything should go gray, and when you let go, it'll put it in the appropriate slot.
Yeah, anywhere on your character sheet.
And where do you search for it?
On the top right, you know where the search or where your character sheet is, the newspaper-looking icon? There should be an I information icon right next to it. So the right-hand pane, very top. The tabs.
Oh, I have it in my pop-out, so it won't work.
Oh, yes, that's true. So if you have your character sheet popped out, you're going to have to bring it back in.
I was like, it's not working.
To do that, go to the cog and go to where it says there's a checkbox for used pop-outs for characters, window pop-outs for characters.
Setting drop from compendium.
Yeah, there you go. So you also notice that all your traits and features that were there are not there.
That's not necessarily true. Mine are actually there.
Are yours there?
Yeah, in the 4 on the right side, mine are all still there for some reason.
But your features and traits are not.
There.
Yeah,
Down at the bottom.
traits, ideals, bond.
Yeah.
Down at the very bottom. So those ones at the top, those ones are small. So yeah, it's the bottom part, and then on the left where it says your tool proficiencies. So like if some of you are bagpipes, some of you are other stuff. What we'll do probably at the end, if everyone's cool with it, unless you guys want to do it right now. But we'll dump in. Basically, you just need to re-add everything that's there. So like if you have dark vision or if you have the phase step, things like that, it's not gonna just say it there. You're gonna have to either know it or remember it. Easiest way to do that is, for me, I just opened up D&D Beyond and then just copied it over from there because I already had it there. But if you want, you can also go up at the very top right. Becca, I'm going to click on your cog. It should take you to the screen. So when you're looking at your character sheet, next to core, bio, and spells, there's a cog at the very top. You guys see that? Click that button. And then go down on the right-hand side, the very right-hand side, scroll down to the bottom of that first box. You see where it says proficiencies and languages and features and traits?
Yep.
It says compendium compatible. You can click that and change it to simple. And then if you go back, you'll see your stuff's back there. But eventually we'll want to transition over this new one so we don't have things getting deleted again.
I didn't have anything in there anyways, I guess.
Yeah.
I still don't know how to search. Explain that to me again.
The eyeball icon, or the letter I icon.
Third icon from the left on the right side of your screen.
Where your chat box is.
Oh,
It's
I
a
forgot.
circle. Yeah.
It'll say compendium.
Oh, I was trying to find it on the character sheet.
Oh, sorry. Yes, so it's up there. And as long as your character sheet's not popped out in a separate window, you should be able to click and drag it into that window.
Do you still need our DCs and our...
Yes, go ahead and I want your AC and your spell save DCs.
Do we need to worry about updating our DCs, or are those probably good?
Your DC spells, no.
They should be good since it's based off your stats.
Okay, my spell DC is 11, and my AC is 16.
And your passive perception as well, sorry.
Where do we find that? Just our perception?
Click on your name, and then at the bottom, you'll see passive wisdom perception. So for yours specifically, it's 13.
It's above your tool proficiencies.
Okay, in the little circle on the left.
Yep.
I'm just making a quick cheat sheet here for tonight.
Balazar is 13 for armor class and 11 for passive.
13?
Yep.
As a barbarian?
Yep, because he doesn't have armor, but he gets 3 based on his unarmored trait.
Unarmored defense? Okay, cool. And what was his DC?
DC,
I assume he doesn't have any spells, but...
No, he doesn't.
Okay, so I'm just but his DC is... If he ever...
Alright, we're good over here.
What are we talking about for DC?
When you go to spells, spell save DC, Difficulty class.
Oh, 11. 11. And Constitution. Constitution 11.
Okay. Charisma for Becca. And what's his perception?
11.
Okay, next up on the list, let's go with Aurora.
AC is 13.
Okay, DC.
What was DC?
If you go to the spells tab, so you have your core, bio, and spells, click on that, and in the very top, you'll see a number in the middle. So it says spell save DC.
12.
And then to the left of that, it says spellcasting ability. What does it say in there? Charisma, wisdom? Okay. Go ahead and go back to your core sheet, and then tell me what your passive wisdom is. That's at the bottom of where it says strength, dexterity, constitution. It's on the very bottom of those numbers.
What the wisdom is?
Passive wisdom perception. So right below wisdom, you have charisma, and just below that.
Right above your tool proficiency.
14.
14, okay. All right, next up, Clandon.
I'm gonna fix spell.
Clandon? I think Steve's
He'll
frozen.
Be right... No, he'll be right back.
Okay, no worries,
He's,
I'll grab it.
checking on the boys.
No worries, I'll grab it real quick. Zed, we'll jump to Zedek. You there, Moo?
Yeah, I posted
Okay.
what mine were, but it's 13, 12, 14.
Oh, perfect.
Player handbook.
And your spell, your SDC is... Was that wisdom, charisma?
Honey, it's in the chat.
SDC, that... that is... Sorry.
That's okay.
That was wisdom.
Okay, perfect. All right, Clandon, AC.
14.
All right, DC.
11.
I bet you it's wisdom, because I'm looking at your sheet right now.
Hey,
Believe it.
And perception. Your passive perception.
I missed that one. Where's that at?
Go to core. Scroll down to the bottom underneath charisma on the left. It says 0 and then 10. So you're
13.
13. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, so we've got our cheat sheet done. We are ready to rock. Does anybody have questions? Everybody was able to update their armor. Yeah. This also includes shields. Did you do your shields?
Wait, what?
Does anyone have a shield that they needed to also re-add? Because it also broke shields.
Check your equipment.
I don't think Aurora had a shield.
I'm good.
Okay, cool. So you're good. Venfina?
I didn't.
You didn't have a shield? Okay, cool. I think everybody's good then. That should level the playing field so that way you don't have anything janky going on. Was everybody able to switch to the simple model? To be able to see your...
Yes.
Okay, cool. So everybody should be able to see their stuff. If you have questions, we'll just, as per usual, just pipe in. We'll get her done. Word up. All right. Remember, if you must blink, do it now. Pay careful attention to everything you see and hear, no matter how unusual it may seem. And please be warned, if you fidget, if you look away, if you forget any part of what I tell you, even for an instant, then our band of heroes will surely perish. Please attend carefully as we begin. As you guys remember, last time we met, this band of adventurers has been pulled together into the city of Phandalin. And I'm going to pull you over here as we continue. So in the city of Phandalin, our adventurers have brought in the goods as from their patron, Gundren Rockseeker. He had asked them to basically bring these provisions to Barthen's Provisions for an expedition that you're not really quite sure what's going on with it, but you do know that the provisions were important for this town. You found this rugged town, on the fringes of the being built upon the skeleton of an older city. You can see them peeking through in places, with lots of sprightly people in this kind of frontiersman's type town. We've met lots of different people. You met we've gone to the inn. You've spoken with them. A few of you went to the Shrine of Luck. Some went and commissioned some arrows to be built by Joffrey at the woodworker. And a few others. Halia Thornton, she actually spoke with Balasar as he was kind of in a stupor and could not find his way to the nearby sleeping giant to get some ale. So, having had these interactions with the townspeople, and deciding to go ahead and throw in, to help the town out, you as a band of adventurers set out to go and find this Gundren Rockseeker. As you did so, you backtracked a little bit, remembering that you had found some odd things along the trail, and had decided to head northwards on that trail. And as you went there, you actually were able to encounter. Tell me if everybody can see okay.
Mm-hmm.
Came into this cave, and you had just finished disposing of the local wildlife. And you're currently in this dark, dank cave. There's not a whole lot of light other than the cave opening. But even then, it's just very dark, damp. Near where Aurora is standing, you find a pile of refuse. It's basically just rubbish stuff that seems to be coming from a large kind of cavernous peak, or what would you call that? A chimney-like crevice that goes up higher from where you're at, probably about 20 or 30 feet. It's hard to see again. It's very dark, and you guys had pulled in here for, I don't believe we did a short rest, but that's where we left it off. Everybody had come in. You discussed kind of what you were going to do, and here's where we're going. What would you like to do? How would you like to begin?
Are we still in the same little part that we killed the dogs in?
Yes, you're currently inside of the little cavern where Venfina's standing, right here, was where the dogs were chained. There was a post that was driven into the bottom of the stalagmite that nearly had been pulled out from the dogs trying to get at you guys, but you guys ended up deposing them before they could do that. So,
is everybody's health back up?
I think Venfina's the only one that has suffered any damage at this moment.
I think we took a short rest, and I'm back up.
Okay, I'm gonna take the DM's privilege of I can't remember, and everyone just go ahead and heal. Take the short rest. So if you're wanting to, if you need to, what that entails is
I used a hit die. It looks like.
Go ahead and roll a hit die. So if you, or the lay on hands, any of that kind of stuff.
I have already used.
Okay.
I've used lay on hands.
All my spells are all.
Okay. So you hear the dripping, the sound of the water slowly trailing out of the cave mouth. You previously remembering, having come in with a little bit of a raucous, no hand signals. You did hear, some movement further up the cave. But otherwise, at present, it is fairly quiet.
How does it smell in there?
Very dank. Dank, and what was the word you used yesterday, Rebecca? Dank. It was, oh shoot, I should have wrote that down.
Dank.
It was basically a danky cave. It smells of where you're at. There's refuse. You've got kind of the rotting meats, the rotting just leftovers that seem to have been, kind of scraps that were just out of the reach for the dogs to eat. It seems to have been a place where they're kind of training them that, hey, we're the boss, because they were, dire wolves.
Let's move forward into the cave.
Okay.
That's what we came here for. We haven't found our quarry.
Okay.
And we see that the refuse pile, and is there anything back there? I don't know if this was described.
Back there's just the cavern mouth. As you get to the pile of refuse and you kind of look up, you see that there's a cave. What do you call that? It's basically just a chimney, a natural chimney in the actual cavern, that goes upwards.
Cave has to go. This cave has to have another level.
Okay. All right. So
And these beasts were just the guard dogs.
Correct. And Balasar, I don't know. This is just DM note. He's very into his ale. I think his patron is Dionysus, and he is a brewer, and a barbarian, and a dragonborn. So
good to know.
I think I put the rest of it in his character thing.
Okay.
So hopefully that helps.
All right. So
Okay.
I say we should continue along the passageway then. Go along the river, see what's up there further.
Okay. So what's the marching order? Who's going first? And describe how you are going about it.
And what is everybody here? I don't know what playing as.
We have lots of elves, I think.
Let's go. Let's do a quick round where, out of character, just explain who you are. Well, you can do it in character too, but we'll start with Aurora. Random pick.
Right.
Just whatever your class is or whatever's just good enough for me. Just know real quick who's who.
Okay, so I'm an elf and a ranger. I think I'm middle class, and I don't I don't remember what kind of elf I am. I always forget.
Go to your lore. It should say what kind of elf, what race.
Ladrin. Yep. Or Eladrin.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. We'll go to the next resident elf, Vinfina.
Okay, I am also an Eladrin elf. I am a paladin though. And let's see. Really tall, blonde, fair skin, green eyes, kind of old, but not super old.
Okay, go ahead, Zedek.
What's so funny, Sarah?
I love that you had to clarify that you were old, but not super old.
I'm not like wisdom beyond there, but
She's not Mother Teresa, but she's not.
I'm like 300 plus years old.
I don't know. That sounds pretty old to me.
Well, you're a mudblood.
I could live to be 600 or 700. So.
Okay, Zedek.
I am a very short, barely just under 4 foot, very pale, a little stocky, very earthy druid. I'm very awkward conversation, and I really like animals and
Yep. Which the deposition of all the animals in this thing, I don't think sat well with them, as you mentioned last time. Clandon. I see your lips moving, but I don't hear sound.
No, Steve, I can't hear you. He plugged his headphone into his phone. Oh, there we go.
Sorry. Yeah, so I'm a half elf. I'm cool. Trying to remember where my character sheet go. And I'm pretty young. I'm only like 24. Only level 1 ranger.
Okay.
Yep. And he is just as a character note, has also been a little bit in search of his father.
Just a titch.
Just a titch. It's getting there. I promise. Okay, so what are the marching orders?
I'll go second.
Okay, so we got. Let's pull everybody. If you want to go ahead and put your person in orders, we'll start with the first one standing here. Boop.
I don't see anything but black. Is there more that you guys are saying?
Scroll
Yes.
down. That's what I had to do, and I had to scroll down and then scroll over to see anything.
Yeah, you might have to
All
zoom
I
out.
see is my person. That is it.
Okay, hold on.
And black.
Well, sorry, that's probably my bad.
Rude.
I'll go last in the line. I'll pull up the rear. That way you guys can't bump into me while I'm
Advanced
taking
fog of
swigs
war.
from my flask.
All right, can you see now?
I'm refreshing it. Just
She's refreshing. Not in the creepy way.
nope. All I see is black.
She sees black. Something they changed is broken. Has anyone else having issues seeing?
I can see the normal like shroud of darkness thing.
Yeah, I see just fine. So.
Good for you guys.
I'm not
I'll
sure.
go first.
Amphina. Okay, so while I'm figuring this out, if you guys want to put your marching orders in. So the 3 places you can either be the forward guard, the people in the middle that are usually, riding or doing something, and then the rear guard.
I'll take the rear guard. That way you guys.
I'll be up in the front.
Drinking.
Yeah, you can heal me in case something goes wrong.
Is this getting any better for you, Becca? Okay, so everybody's moving. Go ahead and describe how you want to proceed. I guess since you're in the front, Aurora.
Refreshing it.
Let's creep forward, trying not to hit any rocks or whatever, because I don't want to alert our presence any more than we already have.
Okay. So you're going to go ahead and creep. I want to go ahead and have everybody roll me a stealth check, please. We're going to do a group stealth check.
I'm feeling real stealthy.
You rolled twice. I'll take the first one yours, Clandon.
You're not talking.
I was talking to Sarah off. Sorry. You got my roll, right?
So yeah, I got Corey Zedix. I got Clandon, your first one, Aurora, and now I'm just waiting for Becca's.
I don't know what the matter is. I saw a die on my screen, but other than that, closed out.
Oh, did we divvy up experience from the last battle?
This one's milestone based, but yes, by the end of tonight, you're I'm full confidence that you guys are going to level up tonight. So plus 10. Oh, plus 15, plus 10, 63. Divided by 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. There's a question. Yes.
Ignore that, sorry.
You can do W/W and then type their name. Okay, so we're going to go, and as we're creeping along, there is, you start to hear noises going down. You guys make it probably about 10 feet collectively.
I see!
Okay,
I can see stuff.
sweet. Okay, everybody can see now?
And the peasants rejoice.
Everybody can see now, yeah?
I see it.
Okay. We're gonna. Do you guys want to continue going down, or?
Okay, so there are 2 ways that we can go. We can keep following the river, and it looks like there's like some kind of bridge or something ahead of us, or we can go left and cross the river into some other type of cavern thing, it looks like. What do you guys want to do?
Which area looks more well maintained or worn?
Following the river looks
Right, yeah.
better.
We're gonna leave this left room unchecked.
I think we checked it pretty good, right?
No, there's a room on the left.
Yeah, there's
Oh.
another cavern on the
Some
left
kind of
that we
room
would
on
have
the
to cross the river and go to.
Okay.
I don't want to get my chainmail wet.
It can be pretty heavy. Well,
It's already heavy enough.
how deep's the water?
The water is right now. It's kind of a slow trickle. It's probably just above your ankle. It's enough that you could wade through without getting too wet. Rocks are kind of slippery. Just obviously from just being a kind of wet, kind of mossy, slick cave entrance area. But it's definitely something that you could go across. I need everyone to make another stealth check for me, please.
I just want to make sure that the exits and our backs are safe.
Well, this cave is certainly safe. Nothing in here.
Okay.
Spit it out, Zach.
Well, are we gonna move forward or go to the side?
I'm waiting on what you guys want to do.
I'm not going in the front again.
Fair point.
I almost got one shot.
I'd rather not get my feet wet here. These high boots don't dry out very fast. You get blisters real easily.
I'm with you.
All right, let's go right then.
Do we want to split up?
Do you want to check that cave by yourself? Because it seems like nobody else wants to cross that river.
Does anyone want to come with me?
Can we just go up a little higher and look down it to see
How wide is this?
Let's do it.
This is probably about 15, 20 feet across, from one side of the cave to the other. Or are you talking about the mouth on the other side?
No, from one side of the river to the other side.
The river itself is probably about 10 feet wide. This shows you about 5 feet here, but yeah, it's roughly.
How about this?
I can throw a dwarf. Do we have any of those? Sorry.
I'm a halfling. Does that?
You're
Close
short
enough.
little enough.
As you guys are talking, you start to hear some moving dirt and rocks, kind of a kerplunking sound and some skittering in the distance.
Great job, you guys. We woke whatever was in there.
Whispering.
Whisper, guys.
So we can either throw the halfling, or one of us can scout ahead and just peek.
Someone scout that has dark sight. Don't.
I'll do it. I'll
Yeah.
peek. I've
Do
got
any
dark sight.
of us have a torch or anything? Because Dragonborn don't see in the dark, right?
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, halflings and.
I've got a dungeoner's pack.
So Becca, is it just me and you that can see better in the
Maybe.
dark?
Oh,
No, I can
so
too.
Clandon does too, right?
Yeah, it should be all you elves.
You guys should have at least 60-foot dark vision.
Yeah, we
Is
do.
that what it is?
I wish I knew it was in the dungeoner's pack.
If you look in the compendium, it'll tell you. It's gonna be
Okay,
torches.
so I'm thinking that since we're hearing something in there, we either need to go check it out or have somebody be ready that
Alright.
it might attack us as we go on through the right.
Well, let's go already then.
I've got torches.
So everybody heard the stirring.
I said that quietly, by the way.
Are you sure?
I've got torches.
I'll light one up. It's dark as heck in here. I can't see anything.
Alright. Do you want to?
I have candles as well.
Someone pick the corner.
I'm picking the corner.
Okay. So you have your torch, and you're pulling it up.
I lit the torch and gave it to Balazar.
Okay, so you lit the torch. Balazar, you have the torch. Balazar, you're in the back, yeah?
Yep.
So, Clandon, you kind of walk. How are you approaching?
Like this.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Can you do a stealth check for me, please?
I love the noises.
So Steve, as you're going across, you're splash, and then as you're stepping, there's this really slick rock, and you slip into the water. No immediate cause for alarm. You kind of hold still for a second there.
Guys, it's slippery.
Realizing that it's slippery, you get your footing, you stand back up, and then you hear kind of in the distance.
And I'm scared. I can make out what looks to be some more goblins.
Who understands Goblin? No one of us does.
You do?
I do.
Okay, Aurora. I'm gonna whisper to you what you heard.
Okay.
I'm too far away to hear it anyway.
Wondering if that's.
I can see at least 2 thingamajigs.
Thingamajigs.
I can see a partial head and a scalp.
Okay, we gotta go in there.
What'd they say?
Wait, am I allowed to say what they said?
You can do whatever you want with that.
It seems like they're trying to run away from us. They might, if they do, and there's an exit over there that we don't know about, they could meet up with some others of their friends. So I think we should go after them and stop that before it gets bigger.
13,
Okay,
14,
guys,
13.
just looking in this.
Are these the goblins that Steve or Clandon is seeing that are talking?
Can he see them?
I can just barely make out a couple of them. And
How far are they?
Did
Give me a second.
Did you guys pass this information along to us down here, or?
So Steve, from where you're at,
45 feet.
From where you're at, Steve, you can see a glowing fire up at the top of this hill, because this is basically a steep embankment. You can tell from where you're standing, there's a lot of rocks and gravel, kind of loose as far as what's up here. And it goes up, not a super steep incline, but enough that it would be a little tricky to try and get up quietly.
Let's send the halfling.
Just throw him up there.
I have a plan.
What could possibly go wrong? Send him first.
I have a plan.
Have you guys read The Hobbit?
As you're saying this, you hear some creaking in the distance to the north.
Over here?
This would be for specifically Aurora. Aurora is the one that also hears this. She hears a creaking in the distance of wood slats. Sounds, kind of like basically just wood creaking together. Possibly small footsteps.
That's crap. That's not good. Okay, so that means because there's a bridge ahead to the right. Okay.
More bridges further out.
there's a if we were to go right, there's a bridge ahead to the right. So
That goes overhead.
apparently there's people over to the right and to the left. So
I can't quite make it out for sure, but I
kind
think
of
we can get to the.
both ends right there.
If we wanted to get to the bridge, I think it looks like this cavern to the left has a path that leads to that bridge. Just FYI. And also,
Like it might move
like
around.
to go upstairs kind of a thing.
it looks like, yeah, because that bridge goes overhead. So it looks like we can climb up this embankment up into the cave, and looks like there's a path that leads and wraps around towards the bridge. But as he said, this is kind of a steep incline path, and it can only be one person at a time. How's your how good is your stealth skills, Venfina?
Let me check.
Just because if we're gonna send somebody in the front, we need somebody good defense and stealth, more stealthy than I am.
Sorry. My Mac mouse went.
They're only that far out. If
And
they try to run,
they're 40, 45 feet.
I don't know. My stealth's alright. I have a 3.
What do you guys think? Should we send Venfina in, lead the way and
lead the
follow
way
up behind her?
We should have somebody, just in case there are more up there. They try to attack us from the rear on the bridge. Somebody that can.
I don't mind staying in the rear
that
since
way.
I've got my longbow. So if I see something coming, which I can see a good distance, because of my dark vision, I can cover us with my arrows.
Okay, I'm cool with that. If Venfina wants to go first, I'll go right after her.
Okay. And I'm crossing over the water, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna back out of the way here so you can get in front of me.
Okay, Clandon and Venfina, both make a stealth check for me, please.
Guys, where are you going? What's going on up there?
And with that, you hear up, and what Aurora hears. I'll type it to you real quick. Down the hallway, echoing up to the north of you. Suddenly, coming down, you hear a sudden rumbling of water, and as the water just sweeps down, suddenly what used to be this small trickling pond has now become a rushing just onslaught of just water and rocks and rubble that just pouring down this cavern to everyone.
I'm gonna go ahead and.
I need Clandon. Ballastar, you're in there.
Yep.
I need Clandon, Aurora, Zedek, and Venfina to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Can I grab Zedek and pull him back into the room?
Yeah, he's small enough. That'll be fine. So, with Zedek, I'll have Zedek do it with advantage. How's that?
Oh, yeah. Saving throw?
Yes, dexterity saving throw.
So my normal throw was better.
That's okay. You're 12. It's okay. So, most all of you, the water is coming down, and it hits the brunt of you. It's pushing you back, but with all of you kind of standing back to back, arm against the wall, and the water's pushing you further and further. You get a little bit of a foothold, and it's not quite able to push you away, but the water is rising. What do you want to do?
Which direction is the water coming?
The water is coming from up here. Nope, that's not gonna work.
This?
It's coming from here, going out to the mouth of the cave. It is flowing downstream to the south.
We gotta get out of this water.
The water's just pounding.
Guys,
how high is it?
Right now, it is about chest high. Maybe belly button, depending on who you are.
Get up. We can get up if we go into that cavern and fight?
Agreed.
Zedek-
Go up the embankment.
Zedek is pretty much almost underwater.
We gotta move quick.
Hope you guys can swim.
Venfina, get Zedek and head into the cave.
Okay.
I'll take up the rear.
I'll
I'll
grab
grab him as I'm.
Okay, Venfina, go ahead and make a strength saving throw.
That
That might not be as good. Sorry.
Oh.
So she picks up Zedek.
Sorry.
Zedek, can you make a dexterity saving throw for me?
Whew.
Balances out.
All right. So Venfina, she picks you up, trying to be helpful, gets you underneath her arm, but with all the water that's just rushing past, she isn't quite able to get a hold of you. The furs and things that you have, the armor, it just gets really slippery and slick. So you end up sliding about 5 feet. Well, let's say about from where you're at. I can't click on you. Let's see there. There we go. Okay, you slide down here, and you avoid taking bludgeoning damage when you hit the wall. You were able to brace yourself enough, kind of Spider-Man style, to keep yourself from getting blown further downstream.
Those stockiness.
Okay.
Do I have rope in my kit?
Which kit do you
Which
have?
pack do you have?
If you
If
have,
you have an explorer's pack, you should.
Can I pull
I
a
do,
rope
yes.
out of my kit and throw it to one of them?
Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
I'm gonna pull that. Or are you doing it?
Because I'm still safe up in the cave right now. Because I wasn't able to get out before you guys moved up. So
Okay.
Yep.
yeah, I'm gonna pull out rope and whoever one's closest to me that maybe is getting washed by or whatever, I'm gonna throw it to them and try.
What are you doing with the torch you had?
I'm just gonna set it on the ground.
'Kay.
Here.
And so you guys know, where Balasar's standing, those stairs go up. And so where he's standing, the water's kind of lapping up against where it's at, but most of it's just rushing out the least path of resistance. It hasn't quite gotten into that
Where
room.
is he standing? I can't even.
Sorry, Balasar is standing in the mouth of the cave at the top of the stairs where those wolves were.
Oh, okay.
So, and your character would know this because that's where you all came from. So, even though the map dynamic lighting doesn't allow you to see it. And then, okay. So everybody's kind of clutching onto the walls. Water just continues to pour. At this point, Zedek, Balasar, you threw your rope out, yeah?
Yep. And I'm gonna. Can I go into a rage to help me pull these people in better?
Yeah, absolutely. So who are you throwing it to first?
Let's go to Venfina.
Zedek,
So
Venfina. Okay, so you throw it to Venfina.
that way the rope goes down water and I can get whoever's.
Okay, do his
that
strength.
wash further.
Just a regular strength check for me.
Okay, sec, and I get advantage with rage.
Perfect.
So
Okay, so it does make it to her. So Venfina, you grab onto it, and Balasar is able to pull you in to this area to
Did
safety.
he pull in Zedek yet, or is he still out?
Zedek is just outside the mouth. He's kind of pushed up against the wall. Water's right about neck level. He's off of his feet, but he's pushed up against the wall because the water pressure that's just.
Okay, and I was the only one that the rope could reach to.
yeah, and can
Yep.
the rope have watched down river after whatever remaining length was left on it? As Venfina grabbed.
Sure, Zedek. Can you do a sleight of hand check for me?
Okay.
Okay, so Zedek, seeing that the rope coming, whipping around in the current, back and forth, he manages just barely to reach out and grab onto it with all his might, and just clutching onto it like a field mouse, grabbing onto whatever in the middle of a flood. You pull them both in. He's just on the curtails of that particular rope as a bonus
Okay.
save. So Aurora and Clandon, can you guys make another? Make a Constitution saving throw for me, please. This is one I don't get to do very often. Okay. Aurora, she stands fast. She's holding on to the wall. Clandon, you lose your footing. So Constitution essentially is like your ability to sustain or to hold on to something. Kind of like if you're in a drinking contest. who can go the longest, that kind of stuff. So you're gonna basically you lose your footing a little bit. So Clandon falls backwards, kind of bumps into Aurora a little bit, but just sweeps past, and he's just gonna kind of continue going down. Can you make a dexterity saving throw for me?
Can I make an action too?
Yes.
A dexterity save, you said?
Yeah, do dexterity save, and then you can take your action. Okay, dexterity. Same thing as Zedek. You manage as you hit the wall. You see it coming, and you kind of dodge the different rock formations in the area so that you're not smashed up against it, smacking your head, kind of rapid style. But you are getting pushed back. You hit the wall, and then what did you like to do?
If possible, I'd like to quickly pull out my rope that I have handy, wrap it around an arrow, and shoot it with as much power as I can up against the rock here to try to use so I can pull myself over to that opening.
Go ahead. Roll. So you're gonna try and shoot your arrow with a rope tied around it. Go ahead and make an attack roll with. Is this your longbow?
Yes, sir.
Make an attack roll with disadvantage because that rope is gonna mess with your aim. So the water keeps coming back. Aurora's standing fast. He shoots his arrow. As you shoot it, you see the rope. As it hits the rock, the arrow actually shatters because the rock's too hard for the arrow to get any purchase into the actual rock. So go ahead and mark off that one of your arrows is busted. The rope itself, did you tie it to anything?
Just held on to the end.
Okay, so you're holding on to it. Okay, so at that point you have the rope, but the rope where you shot the arrow itself, it didn't get any purchase in that actual rock. Okay, so Aurora, Clandon's still in the water. Aurora's still in the water. Go ahead and make another Constitution saving throw, please.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, that sucks.
Okay, so Clandon, just barely keeping onto his foothold. He's being pushed back. Aurora, at this point, the water's hitting just nose level. Balasar, it's coming up to your ankles, kind of lapping in, but mostly just sweeping past. The room itself that you're in isn't having too much. Aurora, you see, just barely bobbing up and down out of the water. She comes falling back, same places where Clandon is.
Okay.
Aurora, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, and same with Clandon. Okay, dexterity save. Okay, so Clandon, you're able to move out of the way just barely, but as you do so, you see Aurora, as she's going past these steps, she ends up smacking, or bashing her knee into some of these rock formations as you're going past, and you're going to take...
Ouch.
You're going to take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
Do I have to do anything on my end?
Yes, so go ahead and click on your character. The little bubbles should pop up. And the red bubble, just click on it and type -1.
Oh.
And that'll take you from 9 to 8. Or you can just type 8, whichever works.
Can I pick up the torch and toss it to one of the other guys I pulled into the cave here? That way it doesn't go out and we don't go blind.
Yep.
So, all right, so I'm going to toss it back to Zedit.
So as you're picking it up, the water starts lapping. You hear it kind of sizzling as it touches. Reach down, clutching it in your dragonborn hand, handing it to Zedek. Zedek grabs onto kind of fumbling for it, grabs onto it, and, holds it high for everyone to see what's going on.
Okay. Then can I go in and just, lay prone on my belly and reach and grab Aurora back in here?
Yeah. If you want to do that, go ahead and make a strength. Between the two, this isn't a contest. Just go ahead and do strength. Just flat strength check.
Sorry, it's not.
With advantage, 18. Yes, you do get her. You grab onto Aurora, clasping her hand, wrist to wrist style, pulling her to safety. Clandon, at this point, the water's starting to subside, but it's still pushing enough on Clandon's chest. Clandon, can you go ahead and make another Constitution saving throw for me, please? Okay, so Clandon, he's just clutching onto the thing. You know, he sees that Aurora's now at safety. He's kind of looking around, wild-eyed, not quite to safety himself, knowing that at least his friends are in a good place.
All right. Well, let's try and get Clandon out now. He's the last one. I'm gonna, just slide over along the ledge and try and reach him. I guess. See if I can. Can I reach him from where I am, or I mean, Balthazar's in the way, but.
You, Venfina, do you want to help him?
Yeah, I can. I'm just changing guns in a second.
Okay, well, you do it with advantage anyway. Go ahead and do it. I'm going to say since Venfina's there, that it's going to be a joint effort, but since... Yeah, just do it with advantage.
Okay, another strength check. Then.
Yeah, strength check.
Stop.
Switch it. At this point, it's probably been more than a minute, so I think age is worn.
Yep.
All right, 14.
And was that with... I only saw one roll.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was only...
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, when you grab onto him, you're pulling, but the current right now, you're not quite able to get a good hold onto him. You're pulling on him, but it's just you're not quite able to pull him in.
Okay, and how... Okay.
Water right now is receded a little bit, but it's still about chest height on Clandon.
And Clandon's an elf, right?
Half elf.
He's
half elf. Okay. So
He's a mudblood.
that's my size here.
Oh, he's a mixed blood.
Okay.
Okay. Clandon, you hear from where you're at echoing above, just barely above, like this, and then silence from out there, but still just the sound of rushing water. But you hear this.
So what happened to my rope? Since I know I probably let go of it at this point to try and pull.
At this point, your rope, when it was pulled in, Zedek, Venfina, right now Zedek and Venfina still have it kind of entangled in the area, so it's just there.
All right. And are the wet steps, are they pretty slippery at this point?
Yes, the closer you get down to here, the more that it's not like peat, but it is, just kind of a slimy rock.
Can we tie the rope around the stalagmite, whichever one it is coming up out of the floor?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then toss it to him to tie around himself?
Absolutely. Aurora, go ahead and do a dexterity check for me.
Read my mind.
Dexterity, just the dexterity button, or the...
Yep, just dexterity.
Okay.
Okay. So you manage to get the rope tied around it, but as you toss it to Balasar, you kind of throw it to the side a little bit, and it doesn't quite make it directly to him. But you were able to get it tied on there pretty good.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stand back up and go grabbing after the rope so we can hurry up and do this here.
Okay, go ahead and do a athletics check for me, please. Natural 20. So the slippery rock ain't got nothing on you. You've got you dig in with your dragonborn feet and just clutch with your toes and those claws and talons, reaching down, grabbing the rope, and you turn. What do you do?
I'm gonna just wrap it around one of my arms, down to the second step here, and reach for him.
Okay.
So with my other arm.
Using strength.
So he has it on one arm, and then his other arm he throws it out to you, Clandon. Clandon, what do you do?
I reach and try to grab it.
Okay, so he grabs on. Go ahead and make another strength check with advantage because you're still raging.
Oh, not me.
Okay, 16.
Yeah, I'll say that works for both of you. Between the two of you pulling up. So you're able to pull Clandon up to safety. At this point, Clandon just sopping wet, top to bottom, panting, just catching his breath. Not really sure WTF just happened. But you're all now currently in the safety.
I heard something hit down hard, as if like blocking the water.
If that's the case, we should probably get a bit further back here so we don't get flooded out ourselves here.
I've got a black screen now too.
Oh shoot. I think it's maybe where you're standing. Let me move you here. Can you see now?
I can.
Yeah, I think there's a dead spot in this room on that square.
It's a stalagmite right there, so it's
Yeah.
probably lighting screwed up on it.
Yeah.
Something screwy there.
All right, I'm gonna, untie the rope real quick and make a quick rough coil on it. And I want to go and move back towards the trash pile with what he said there.
How thick is the chimney?
That chimney, it's pretty small. It's barely 5 foot by 5 foot, so Zedek wouldn't have too much trouble going up it. Balasar, it'd be a tight fit, but you'd be able to make it up there. Seeing as Balasar is the largest among you.
The whitest, you mean?
Yes.
Largest, thank you.
He's a barrel-chested dragonborn. What would you like to do at this point?
Is the water continuing to rise?
No, the water is now subsiding, but now you've got... The water is still flowing on the entirety of... Can you guys see this right here? The water's still, up to here. It's gone down probably of the steps that you have. There's 5 or 6 steps. It's subsided about halfway down that, and it's quickly reducing from where it was at.
Okay, so since the water's receding, I don't see a reason to go up the chimney unless we're get into a life-threatening situation.
Unless they
Before we do anything,
I wanted to ask Aurora,
what were the goblins saying? How did you know we needed to run?
They yelled flood real quick, and I yelled run instead of flood. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do we know?
I wasn't sure if that was the reason. Like if they knew something was coming, or it was a lot.
It makes sense now because earlier they said that they needed to get out of here quickly, and then and that's when I thought that it was, they heard us, but
I don't know. They know we're here. They know we're coming. I think it might be smart to try to go away. They won't expect us, which is that chimney. And I've got equipment that we should be able to get up there safely.
I do have an explorer's pack, so I've got rope and stuff.
I've got rope. I've got pythons, which are climbing equipment that you hammer into the wall to tie your rope to.
Okay.
And I've of course got a hammer, so we can try to get up there. Unless you think that'll make too much noise and they'll hear us doing it.
Might echo up chimney.
Well, it might echo, but they're gonna have a hard time getting to us. Anyways, with the water still as high as it is.
Well, they may not hear us because of all the water.
They might be above us though.
Yeah, but with these rocky caves, it's gonna be hard to miss any sort of pounding into rock there.
Let's investigate it and see if it's a rock or if it's like gravelly, loose gravel, or maybe it's just dirt and we could get into it.
Should we send Zedek up? How are you at climbing, Zedek?
I say either Zedek or maybe the half elf goes up there. Just
I don't mind giving it a shot.
because you guys could probably go nice and quiet like up there.
I like climbing trees. That's trees. Not a
If
tunnel.
you guys got some grease on you, I'll go
Let's
myself.
do it. I'll give it a shot.
Grease me up like a pig.
I'm just curious, like, if they're the ones that allowed the flood through Rolled,
That's a good point.
trying to wash us out. Because if it's starting to cut back down, they probably dammed it back up, and if they hear us coming back up with the
Becca,
water, they might.
on
let
your
us go
side,
again.
can you see up the chimney?
That's a good
Good.
point.
Just want to make sure no one's peeking.
I say someone go at least check it out. See if they can see what's at the top of the chimney, if it leads
All right,
anywhere.
I'm going for it.
Sounds like a good plan.
And then we'll.
Hey, Balazar, can you give me a boost?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. So I'm gonna prop him
Okay.
on my shoulders and get him up.
Wasn't Venfina supposed to heal?
No, I've already healed.
Okay.
Oh, did I get damaged again?
It shows you still at 6.
On my sheet, I'm 11. I'm okay.
Oh, you just haven't healed your character. Got it.
Here, let me.
Yeah, it should have updated, but
Hold on.
it's having linking issues.
I'll fix it.
Bye, hero.
Nope, yours is busted. It doesn't allow me to. I'll fix that later. Okay,
Okay,
so
Balazar is boosting me up into the chimney.
okay. So Clandon, Balasar and Clandon, this is going to be a joint acrobatics check. So if the two of you could roll for acrobatics, please.
Okay. Sorry. First.
That's
value.
okay. I'll take the first one. All right. So as you're trying to lift him up a little bit, trying to get purchase, what describe to me what you're.
So I'm gonna, grab him by his waist and hoist him onto my shoulder.
Okay.
And just try and hold on to his legs as he's up there.
Okay. All right. So he grabs you around the waist. Clandon picks you up, or he picks Balasar picks Clandon up with his thick, corded. Dragonborn scaly arms, sets him up on his shoulder. He's got a little bit of uneasiness and starts to slip a little bit in the refuse that you're standing on to get up into that hole. It's it's not like identifiable stuff. It's just kind of slimy, gross stuff, trash. And so you kind of lean up against the wall, thuds a little bit. No harm, no foul. Clandon, go ahead. And at this point, you're up probably about... Let's see, what's your height, Balasar? You are 6 feet?
6'5", yep.
Okay, so you're 6 feet. It's a 30-foot cavern. You got 25 feet. For the height of Clandon, you get up on his shoulders, stand up a little bit, reaching as high as you can. You're sitting about, needing to go another 15 feet. Can you do a strength check for me, please? Clandon. Yeah. So you reach up, and you're still a little bit, feeble, or you're kind of shaken a little bit from being smashed around in the rocks and the water. Didn't quite get purchase on the rock, and you slip, and you fall right onto Mr. Balasar. Balasar, can you do a dexterity check for me?
Just normal check?
Let's do just a normal dexterity check, please. 19. Okay, Balasar steps out of the way, and Steve, you hit that refuse pile. And take 3 points of falling damage.
Oh, you're clumsy, aren't you?
And you land just back first. Knocks the air out of him a little bit.
Be agile here.
I was hoping for an acrobatics.
Well, if you describe it as I'll tell you, this is just as a note. The way you describe how you do stuff affects what type of class I'd take. So, like, if you say you want to do like a parkour wall run thing, then I would throw that into acrobatics, that kind of stuff. So it'll influence the way that I choose what you roll.
Roger that.
So what did you see in the tunnel up there? Were you able to see anything? Were you able to anything grab onto?
So Clandon, from where he was at, as he was climbing it, he wasn't quite able to crest the top of it, but he did see the subtle warm glow of what he would familiarly know as a torch or a fire before he fell.
What'd you see up there?
Yeah, I saw fire.
Fire.
Burn,
I
fire.
wasn't up there long enough. Do you want to give it another go?
It's up to you. dude.
And you muster another go.
Yeah.
How's your health?
Are you strong enough to do
I'm gonna rally. I'm gonna go for it again, but instead of just reaching this time, I'm gonna jump for it and try to press my body in the crevice like
You're gonna
crazy,
parkour
like
it?
Spider-Man.
Okay.
Not parkour,
So-
but just jumping up and getting purchased with my body and my arms. Wedge myself.
Balasar and Clandon, can you both make an acrobatics check for me?
Use your elven dexterity.
Okay. So as you stand there, Balasar, you see he nods and he puts
Oh gosh.
he threads his fingers together and he kind of gets into a stout stance. He squats and he's ready. He puts his hands out ready for you to put your foot in it, and he's gonna throw you right up into the chimney flume, right? So Clandon, you go running up. And as you run and approach into the refuse pile, you slip and fall, and instead of your foot going into his hands, your face does, and he launches your face up into the air. You do a backflip, and then land flat on the ground behind you, and take another 3 damage. 3 points of just knocking the crap wind out of you, force damage.
I say, come here, child. I will heal you. Come here.
I'm just cracking up laughing. Little
Okay. Do you want to roll the hit die, or do you want me to do the hands thing? I can do a lay on hands.
Lay them on me.
I'm rolling on the floor laughing really loud.
I think we all are.
So just the sound, the sheer sound of his cape and cowl, just the slop as it hits the ground, is just too much comic. It's too much for one person to bear. So
Has gone up. You're welcome.
yes, resident fool.
You have had the worst rolls today.
It makes me feel better about all my crappy rolls that I always have.
All right. Well, guys, I don't think we're gonna be making it up that chimney anytime soon. Maybe we should go check out that.
Here lies Clandon.
Yeah.
Let's just
Maybe we
leave.
should go check out that other passageway.
Has the water gone down during all that?
Yes. So as you've been doing this, thankfully it was loud enough, the water moving, that you don't seem to hear any additional noises upstream to the north. And the water at this point has gone down. It's not quite its normal level. It's maybe about calf deep, but it's enough that it's crossable.
Calf deep. So
Do we want to try and?
So yeah. So for
go up
Zedek,
further to
it's
the
about belly button
cavern?
deep.
Somebody put him on his shoulders or something.
Yeah, I can carry him for now if he needs a bit of help.
Okay.
How tall is the cave, though? Because you're a pretty tall dude.
Cave's pretty tall.
Okay.
In this area. So when Aurora was looking upstream, and she saw the bridge, that bridge itself is about 20 feet above where the bottom floor where you guys are standing's at, and it does go uphill. So as you go to the north, it's a gradual gradient. What do you call it? It's a very graded climb. Yeah, it's an incline all the way up, kind of like really rough, kind of crappy natural steps that have been kind of washed away.
Not only would we be going against the water, like calf deep, but we'd also be going uphill against the water.
Correct.
That seems
Well, right now it's back to its natural flowing area. It's just a little bit. There's a little less room on the side you were walking on. So you wouldn't be in the water per se if you stuck to that wall.
Well, what about if we tie ourselves all together so nobody gets washed away this time?
Did I get held up?
And
Becca?
And go up
Yeah, I'm still here.
the route.
He asked if you healed him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did, but I didn't know how to do how many points. I didn't remember.
It should be in your feature. Let me check real quick.
Was it
Lay on hands.
Isn't it your level +4?
It is. You restore a total number of hit points equal to your paladin level ×5.
Yep. So.
I don't know what I mean.
So your paladin level right now, you're 1, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you're level 1, so you're 5 hit points.
So you
So
have
you have 5 more hit points.
Hey, you got all but 1 back.
There you go.
Which is super nice, being a flat heal like that.
Okay, so I have 2 healing potions as well, and one more lay on hands. Just don't anybody get too much hurt.
That's a question I had.
I'm sorry.
Like my spells, my slot total, and my slots remaining. Can't edit it.
Spells were one of the things that got changed in the patch as well. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
We might have to realign them. Like I said, we'll spend a little bit after the fact and get all this stuff lined up. And if we can't solve it tonight, then I'll work on it this week and make sure everybody's all fixed up.
Alright, we gotta get out of this room. I'm
Okay.
getting claustrophobic.
Clandon's getting a little antsy.
All right. So
Well,
Let's all get on Balazar's back.
you guys will just be like my backpack, one giant backpack.
So I'm not
Are we
going
doing
up
one
high.
big chicken fight here?
All right, Balasar, roll for strength.
So let's say, what's everybody's weight limit here?
You're still raging, right? Or how long is your rage?
Definitely worn off by
Okay.
now.
All right, so 8. So
How many
he
can
gets
carry?
Zedek. He gets Zedek on his back, and then someone else tries to jump on, and it just isn't gonna work. He stumbles, and he's like, "I haven't had enough ale today. Just I can carry Zedek, but that's my limit."
Alright, you two go take it on.
What if instead of tying all of ourselves together, because that's more likely that we can all be swept away. What if we shot rope from our cavern to that cavern that Clandon was explored? And it didn't, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't work. Remember the arrow broke
yeah.
because it was too
We
tough.
can give it another shot.
Well,
Literally.
who has the pitons? Maybe
do.
you can go run over there and have the rope attached and start hammering in to the wall with the
Do we
rope.
want to risk making that much noise? I mean, they already know we're here, but if they do hear us this time, they may flood us out again.
yeah, they may think we're gone because of flood.
Okay.
Also, keep in mind that you do have other kinds of arrows, not just wood arrows.
How do I get different kinds of arrows?
Venfina has a crossbow. These bolts.
True that.
Fina been holding out on us.
I told you I could shoot one.
She's got
Sorry.
bolts.
Yeah, deep. Those are iron.
Okay.
Okay.
Fina.
I
I can try shooting one across this time.
So Venfina,
Tied to a rope.
Yeah.
tie it to a rope. Tie it to a
Which
rope.
I do not have because I don't have an explorer's pack. So
I lend you my
Like-
I lend you my rope.
and then
Okay, and that
Tie it to something so we don't lose it, or something.
passage of time wise, we're sitting. It was about 20-30 minutes, so you've got about 30 minutes left on that torch. Just as a reminder.
and there's no torches anywhere in this cave.
The only source of light that you have seen thus far is the glow that Clandon mentioned seeing over in the cavern to the left, as well as up that poop chute chimney.
Okay, so Balasar does not have dark vision, right?
Correct. Me and
Okay, so our two non-dark
Yeah,
vision
Clandon
are
doesn't
right
see the-
there.
Wait, no, do you have dark vision, Clandon?
Yes.
Okay, so he does have dark vision.
it's
Okay, then
whatever the halfling is.
Balasar and Zedek are running around. Oh, I can't see.
Yeah. So but I have 9 more.
Well, they can still have a half hour.
Yeah, they got the torch.
'Kay.
And he's on his shoulders, so he's good.
Who has the torch?
It's on the ground.
Zedek, no, he gave it
Okay.
to Zedek.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm holding it, and I'm holding it up in the air.
On Balazar's shoulders, right?
Yep.
All right.
I'm making shadow puppets.
Okay,
Oh, that just gave me an
That's not
idea.
where I'm at.
And
And I get the rope and I tie it onto the end of this arrow I'm gonna shoot. And then I take the other end. Isn't it still tied off somewhere?
Yes.
No, I
This is separate rope.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah, because this is Clandon's rope. Okay, Clandon, so we will tie your rope onto that stalagmite.
Hold on. It's only 50 feet, so make sure we have enough length.
Do you need
Oh yeah, we're only 15 feet from.
Yeah.
So it would use 30-ish feet.
Okay, we can recover it. That's fine. Just wanted to make sure we had enough to get it there.
Okay. So you have it tied off.
It is tied to the arrow I'm shooting, and it is tied off to the stalagmite in the cave.
Okay. And can you ping for me which area you are trying to hit?
Maybe.
Okay. So you're going to try and hit on that right here. Oh, no, that's not one.
That little.
That X. Can you see it?
Yipper, I can.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll with your crossbow, please. 10. Okay, so you shoot.
No, it's a 15. Look at the chat.
You're right. It is a 15. Okay, so you shoot, and this time the arrow doesn't shatter when it hits, but it does deflect. It seems like you chipped off a little bit of the shale and the kind of like flint-like stone as it hits, and you see a little bit of a spark, but it doesn't actually take purchase, and you see it kind of.
All right. I'm going to reel it all back in.
Okay, so you start reeling.
And this time, I'm going to shoot it at the ground.
Like at your feet?
No. Instead of on.
The slope.
Instead of hitting the wall where you had your X, I'm going to hit the ground right below your X.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll again.
Boom. Same exact.
Well, you are trying different. So you shoot, and it sticks into the mud, and the dirt, and it probably buries it. So the shaft of that bolt is probably maybe a foot long, and you can see probably about 2 or 3 inches still poking out of the dirt. It's lodged itself pretty well into the mud, but it is mud and like gravel and dirt.
Alright. So, Clandon, you're not humongous, right?
Tug on it.
No. But I'm nervous about my rolls.
And it bravely goes along.
I can't imagine why.
Pull on the rope, see if it's snug.
I give it a good tug.
Okay, you give it a good tug, and it's got enough of kind of a vacuum that you feel it moves a little bit, but it doesn't quite come completely dislodged.
I'm gonna go on the rope and try to get over there and put a python. Is that what it's called? A python?
Can we tie
Sure.
a rope around your waist before you go with Balasar's rope, maybe?
That's a good idea.
Double or nothing. Balasar's in a bio break, so he kind of nods his head with kind of the dragonborn pensive look to it. Hands it to Benfina to Clandon. You're over here. Yeah.
So they got it tied around me.
Yep. So you've got a rope around your waist.
I'm gonna, as quietly as possible, try to get over there. Pull myself along with.
Roll a stealth check for me. Benfina, are you staying out in the corridor?
14.
I just want to keep eyes on him, so if I can be in the place and inside of the cave and still have eyes, then.
Okay. From where you're standing, it should be fine. All right, so you're going, Clandon. Go ahead and move your guy forward.
Okay.
Is this where she shot it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I pick up the rope, pull out one of my python and hammer, and as carefully as I can, I hammer it into the wall and tie it off.
Okay, I need you to make. Let's make another stealth check. Okay, 19. So, as best you can, you hear in the distance there's some water dropping, bloop, bloop, and some water, and then and the rocks kind of tumbling, and using your sense of being in the wilderness and being able to try and meld yourself with that, with using your ranger kind of instincts, you try and methodically get that piton into the wall. You're able to secure it into there without much notice of the others around you. What do you want to do? So you tied the rope to it, right?
Yeah, I tied the rope, and it is now secured to the wall.
Okay, so there is a rope like this.
And guys, what's that? Yeah.
Okay.
And just so everyone knows, I'm in this new position that I am now. I look to my left, and I'm able to see a little more clearly that there's more than 2 guys in this room. I can clearly see 2 goblins, and what I think is their campfire, and I think I can make out 3 additional heads. So there's at least 5 what I suspect goblins in that room.
So, do you tug on the rope and like tell us how many goblins there are or something?
So from where you're at,
I'm using hand signals.
Clandon will.
You can see me clearly, and I'm saying
yes, she'll be able to see you. Okay, so Clandon tries to convey. He sees the light, and just barely peeking at the top, he's seeing shadows of these goblins dancing on the wall, because he can't see them directly from where you're standing because of the incline. But you do see the shadows of multiple figures, of which you are able to surmise that there's more than 2 or 3 in there. What do you want to do? Who's next on the chopping block?
I'm gonna. Yeah.
So is the plan to go up that route where he's at, or is this just to get up the cave further?
So, I'm gonna leave my talk there. Yeah, I don't want to say anything else. Just think who's sent first.
All right, I'm gonna go. Is the other end of the rope tied to me or the stalagmite?
Stalagmite.
Okay, I'm gonna go and follow the rope up to where he's at then.
Okay, there's 2 ropes actually.
So I'm going with you.
Oh, I go ahead and untie the other rope for me.
Gotcha.
And you guys can pull it back. And I'm holding on to where I put it in, and I'm just gonna be there to assist people get up into the up the embankment or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm gonna see if I can just hold on to the rope and follow it up to where he's at then.
Okay, and do you have Zedek with you?
Is he still on my shoulders?
That was supposed to be.
Yeah. Okay, so the both of you do a stealth check for me, please.
Okay. Close my sheet.
Zedek, what are you doing on top of him?
I have a torch.
Yeah.
Playing the drums.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about.
Up there? Or... So
yeah. You go ahead and move.
I'm gonna move up with him right about there. Just at the edge of the rocky way. It's right about here.
Okay, so as you're doing this, Steve, you start to notice up the what's your visual range as a human?
What's my as
in the dark? It's 20 feet.
I don't know. Where would I find that? Dark vision.
I think it was like 60 or something.
Your dark vision, so you should be able to see this. Okay, I'm just making sure that it's not there. So, as you see this, you hear that of like footsteps on wood, and you see a goblin on the top of the bridge, peering out, trying to see if whatever was down there has been washed away.
Do I hear this as well?
You do not. Well, let's see. Yours.
Because he is around my shoulders there, so he may be.
Balasar, perception. Yes, actually, Balasar, you do, because he rolled terribly on his stealth. And Zedek, you also see him with your passive perception. So
Right.
all three of you are able to see. You hear this coming. You freeze, and but as you see this, the goblin, he also locks eyes with you guys.
Okay. How far away is he?
He from you is about 20 feet.
All right. Can I?
Could
would I
Zedek
be able-
like shoot him while he's on top?
Yeah,
of
hold on. I'm trying to figure out.
I don't have it. Oh, I don't only melee.
I've got my longbow if you say I can see him.
How do I get? How do I make him visible? I don't know how to make him visible to you
go
guys.
to the layer he's on, so it's most likely.
He's on the GM layer, yeah.
So you have to go to that layer, then you can right click him.
Ah, there we are.
I can't-
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So
I tap on Balasar's like Goblin.
and
Point.
do you have a ranged weapons on you?
I've got a longbow.
I do not.
Okay, split second. Goblin, he draws back, sees what's going on, and he throws a javelin your direction. He is going to try and hit. This is going to be hard because there's two of you in the same place. So
Can I
he's
toss, whoever's on my shoulders forward into the passageway.
yes, yeah. Go ahead and take. What we'll do is do a dexterity saving throw for that, and he's going to throw a javelin at you directly. I need Zedek to also make a dexterity saving throw, please. So Balasar, yes, you are able to throw him. He gets out of the way.
At the same time as this is happening, I'm getting my bow ready to take a shot at him.
Okay. Let's
Can
see.
I move to the mouth of the cave, or can I not move yet?
You can move to the mouth of the cave where Venfina's at, yes. And then we'll roll initiative here in just a second, because you guys will see from where you're at. You'll see Zedek suddenly the flame just disappear, because he's holding that torch, which also reduced the stealth because the goblin could see you. So he threw him. You're just right in front of him, in the gravel, and you got dexterity save 7. Oof. So when he threw you, he wasn't very nice to you. He just kind of grabbed by the scruff of your neck, tossed you in. The torch goes out as you hit the ground, taking 4 just falling damage from him chucking you. But Balasar, you... 1 second. I had this organized earlier and I moved it.
So the torch went out, so I'm blind at this point.
Yes.
Okay. So I threw there, and then I don't know what's going on at this point.
And so the short bow... I'm sorry, it wasn't a javelin. He's shooting a short bow at you. That's a lot of dice.
Are there no lights along that pathway they just entered?
No, there's nothing aside from the glow up in the top of that kind of where the guys are standing in the mouth of, at the very top of it. There's some light up there, but there's not down there. This seems to be what the goblins have set up as a lookout to try and defend their stronghold.
Very gracious goblins.
So your AC, if this is correct, is 13. So that does hit the first one. I'm going to take the one on the left because it's not with advantage, but that does hit. You take 6 piercing damage.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so I
What's up?
can only do one action, or
We're gonna roll for initiative right now, and then it'll tell you what the action is. I'm gonna let Clandon, you can do, and Zedek, you can do, because you noticed them at the same time. You guys can do a preliminary action. Everyone else, we're gonna roll for initiative. Let's see.
Close it.
Initiative is still.
You what?
FYI, if you guys double click on the bar at the top of your character sheet, it just minuses it down. Double click on the minus down thing to bring it back up. Instead of having to go to the character sheet piece every time.
Right.
Huh?
I think he's double clicking it, and it's making his thing go bigger.
All right, great. We are doing fantastic here.
Goblin didn't do well either. Okay, so we get Zedek, Venfina. Now we just need Aurora. So if you click on your person, it should show initiative top left.
Got it.
So after I get back up, I'm going
Perfect.
Says it's an unrecognized command.
Ignore.
It's fine. It'll still add it to the turn order. It just will.
It's just being
gives
dumb.
you an error for no reason.
So you said I could make a preliminary action?
Yes, you can make one preliminary action. Yes.
I'm getting Balazar out of danger's way and get him into that opening to get him out of
Make him hug the walls.
Get him out of line of sight. Yeah.
Okay. Do a stealth or strength check for me, please. It succeeds. You grab Balasar, you pull him into the alcove here, up against the wall.
What are you doing? I can't see anything here.
I'm just helping you get you out of the harm's way. Your health is a little low, sir.
Well, something hit me when I was coming here.
Yes. You got shot with an arrow. It's okay. We'll get you some drink soon.
Okay, now Zedek. Anything you want to do?
I'm going to attend to the arrow shot.
Okay.
And cure wounds.
So he's gonna pull. He reaches over to Balasar, takes the arrow that had grazed you in the bicep, pulls it out slowly, breaks it, takes his hands together. You can't really see a whole lot, so you're just kind of blindly feeling around, but you see this dull green glow emanating from your hands as you reach out and feel the nature around you, and allow that nature around you to course through him. And you are healed for 5 points.
Much better.
Okay.
The bleeding stops, and
You're my meat shield. I need to keep you up.
and the wound closes. Okay, so next is Clandon. Clandon, you're top of the thing.
All right, I gotta take down that goblin up there, so I'm gonna aim for a headshot with my longbow.
Okay. And just as a note, Venfina and Aurora, go ahead and roll for your attack. Venfina and Aurora, at this point, all you are aware of was there was a shout, and then there was just darkness. You can see them pulled up against it. You can see Balashar was hurt, but you're not really sure what the source is yet. So go ahead and roll your attack with your longbow.
Why aren't you doing it?
Steve?
Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
I
No, I'm
need
talking
you
to
to
Steve.
get on the other side of me in case
Come
those guys
on.
come down.
Okay, so Steve, you take the first shot. Because he's up on the, he's 20 feet up higher than you. He's looking down at you. The shot was a little harder, trickier than you had judged. So as you shoot it, shoo past him. You hear it splash in the water somewhere behind him. Go ahead and mark down that that's just one arrow that you can recover later. And do you want any any bonus or secondary actions?
I don't know what to do at this point. What are some examples?
So you can taunt, you can talk, minor actions. If you have what's
Step
called a
out of line
bonus,
of sight.
yeah, you can use your movement. If
Can
you
two
have,
people share the same tile.
if
You can share
you,
with me because I'm a halfling.
he's a halfling, so I'd allow that, yeah. But you and Balasar would be hard pressed to take the same cover on the same square.
I'm assuming goblins have dark vision.
Yes. They're like dwarves and other things. They're meant for underground battle.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna step out of line aside and join Zedek here for a moment.
Okay, Balasar.
All right. Does anybody near me have I'm gonna whisper, ask if anybody has a candle near me that I can light, because I'm just blind right now. I can't see
I can
anything.
give you another torch.
I think, yeah, I'm the only one with candles.
I can light another torch for you.
Another, I don't know if it'll help you or not, but your guy's also a red dragon.
Okay.
Which he does, I think, have a breath feature for fire.
Yeah. And I just read it in here.
What's the distance on that?
I don't think it has range, but I think you could, like, if you wanted to attempt to, like...
15 feet cone.
Is it a 15-foot cone?
Yeah.
So he's 20 feet up, plus that. So it might not be able to reach him, but you could light up the cavern if you're trying to do something. Does it take an action? I'm not sure. Is it a bonus action?
Yeah, it would be an action.
Okay.
I believe. Let's see. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna just request assistance from someone else to help me. I pull out a torch out of my pack and just try and, whisper somebody to light this for me because I can't see anything.
Okay.
I have my tinderbox.
Okay. So Balasar's gonna hold, or are you just gonna?
I can ignite, and I can also distinguish campfire. Can I just light it for him?
Balasar, you can hold your action if you want to wait for Zedek's turn.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll wait until.
Okay. Balasar holds his action for Zedek's turn. Okay, Goblin, he doesn't see where you've gone. He kind of calls out a little bit again, tries to get a better viewpoint of where you went, just kind of moves up, doesn't quite see where you're at.
Can I hear them at all?
From where you're at, yeah, you're gonna you'd hear the kind of mutterings of his initial kind of little battle cry, essentially like in broken English or whatever Goblin would speak. It's essentially, I found you, an exclamation of surprise, if that makes sense.
Like you're still alive. What?
Yeah, like what the crap. So he's gonna, from his point of view, he's gonna hold his action and ready. So what that means is he's just basically gonna have advantage on someone's next attack on him.
Benfina.
Sorry, I didn't know it was next.
Okay.
Should probably look at the turn order. Alright. I think I'm gonna step a little north of where I am.
Okay. Go ahead and move your person.
Okay, and now I have visual on said goblin.
Yep.
Okay, what is the little squiggly lines on him?
He just has advantage. He's readying for whoever attacks him.
Okay, cool. And he is uphill of me?
Yes, he is 20 feet up, and let's see. So 20 feet that way plus diagonal, I'd say is probably a total of 35, 40 feet. If you count it just diagonally, the hypotenuse. Probably closer to 35. And you're shooting up at him.
I'm gonna crossbow him.
Okay, roll for attack. 13. Okay, his AC. You shoot, but with his shield, he deflects it, and is not able to quite make the damage.
Okay, I'm gonna sneak back inside of the cave.
Okay, so we go next to Aurora.
He's got a shield and a bow, or is this a different guy?
It's a goblin. He's got his short bow, and then the
and
crude
I'm
shield.
on the steps. not like so I'm not blocking the path where Aurora could potentially go by me.
Okay, that's totally fine. Now Aurora.
Okay, I'm gonna move forward to where she was and see what I can see.
Okay. Go ahead and move.
Raining like crazy out there.
It is raining like crazy. Okay, can you see him from where you're at?
Yeah, I can.
I'm pretty sure you all have longbows and crossbows, so I don't think hitting him is going to be a problem. He no longer has
Yeah.
advantage on hits.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try and hit him.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack. Of the 12. And that, again, does not hit. He's able to deflect it. Just I guess from the sheer, just where he's at, the angle it's at, it's just kind of hard to hit him. So he's able to side skirt that damage.
Balazar has a torch now, right?
At this point, it is Zedek's turn, so if Zedek wants to use his minor action, let me think. Yeah, I'll count that as a minor action, since it's not going to be doing damage. So he can go ahead and light Balasar's torch if he wants.
Okay. So I take the torch and kind of like put my hand over it and
Okay.
like,
So it puts it into flame. All right.
and then I hand it back to him so
Okay.
he can see.
Much better.
Has there been any stirring from the goblins through the cave that we're in?
Not that you can hear. Up to this point, it's been pretty muffled. You do hear this just in the water in the distance, the plopping and the occasional rocks kind of shifting and what have you, but you don't hear anything further out.
Okay.
Can I talk when it's not my turn?
Kind of. This is all, and so this is all like split second stuff. So it's like all this stuff is happening each turn or round. Can't remember the. Corey, do you remember? Is it 6 seconds?
Yeah. Every
I wanna say-
person's turn is about 6 seconds.
Every person's turn is about 6 seconds, so it's pretty quick.
Can I chuck a rock, try to get behind the goblin to see if I can deter his focus?
Yes. This one, let me think. There are rocks by you, so you have the supply. Go ahead and let's do a deception check. I'm going to ignore the strength part for the moment. So deception 15, and he is advantage. That does not succeed. You throw it, and he kind of looks behind him, and he looks back at you, kind of confused. And he's like, I see you. Like,
Well, the thing is like I don't put it together that he can see without light, but
oh, I gotcha. No worries. So yeah, he just kind of glares at you with a kind of a snarly tooth, like just kind of confused because it didn't even hit close to him. It was just like off in the distance, and he's just at this point it's reassured himself that he can overcome these enemies.
hey, I made him cocky so he doesn't call for help.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to do as your minor actions?
At this point in time, no.
Okay.
Hold.
Balasar.
All right. Would I be able to set my torch down like in the gravel where it stays up so I can still see, and then go around the corner and throw a javelin?
Yeah. If you stuck it down in the dirt right about here.
Or you can just have me hold it.
Or I can have him hold it. That's a fantastic choice as well.
Okay. Yeah,
Alright, so
I permit it as long as he's willing to grab it.
All right. Can you hold this real quick here? And turn to him, holding up the torch.
Sure.
All right. Now I'm gonna step around the corner, quick like, and throw my javelin at it.
Okay, make your attack.
Sorry. So 24.
Okay, so 24. Yes, that does hit. That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Okay, 8.
8 piercing damage. Okay, so you throw this, and the goblin, still full of himself, gets a little cocky, leans forward and gets ready, just as a javelin goes right through the back of his head.
Oh,
He
nice.
crumples and falls off the bridge with a splash as he hits the water down below, and just kind of bobs his head back and forth in the water, completely just decimated, dead.
Good job, Balazar.
take that, you stupid creature, for the arrow.
Okay, so you don't hear anything other than that. You still hear the shifting and the kind of the chittering of bats in the distance. Again, this cave mouth that you're going into is getting taller the deeper you go into it. You're probably, probably 30, 40 feet tall at the point of where that bridge is. What do you guys want to do?
How do you have a plus?
And so he's landed about down here.
Can I go up and retrieve my javelin real quick from?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I'm just.
And Steve, go ahead and roll a d20 for me real quick. This will tell me what your success rate on getting that. Yep, you get your arrow back. So go ahead and, except for the one that was broken, shattered, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so that ends that phase. Where do you guys want to go at this point?
Does Goblin have anything on him of use?
Go ahead and roll investigation for me. You find about 10 coppers on him.
All right.
Otherwise, the tools that he has, the things that he has, it's just kind of very primitive.
When Balazar returns over here, I'm gonna. Well, first we need to get the group over to us, the rest of the group over here,
Okay.
and then we can strategize how we're gonna approach these next goblins.
Okay, so everybody approaches.
Are we gonna just leave the rope there, just tied for now? Is that the plan?
It
Yeah,
wouldn't be a bad idea to leave it there for.
I'm fine leaving that for now.
All right. So where do you guys want to go now? Should we go up this passageway or go back up along the river again?
So you said there's a lot of guys up.
I still think we need to take out these guys, and they know we're here based on what Aurora was telling us.
Yep. So where you're standing,
So-
from what you
But
guys
there's a lot
see,
in there. There's a lot of them in there.
yeah, you see from
We
where you're
haven't
at. Zedek won't be able to see it, but Clandon does. What we mentioned before. Obviously, you have that bridge above that you can go under, and then the bridge is 20 feet up, as far as height wise. So it's not crazy high. So those are
Salazar,
your
could
kind
you-
of options.
Could your breath, flame, whatever, take them all out at once?
Well, it could definitely attempt to. It's decently strong, but I don't know if they'll be able to take them all out.
I could try to snare them all in place to hold them still for you.
Yeah. If you did that, I can only reach about 15.
Are we able to set a trap to cover our backs and maybe go the other direction? And maybe I don't know what to do.
We could, but we don't really have.
Could I
set
make
trap
an?
with-
You said that bridge is 20 feet high.
Yep.
Could I make an attempt to get up onto the bridge?
Absolutely.
Can I boost them up there to help?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's 6 feet plus your 6 feet, so that's 12. So you're sitting a little bit short. You're going to have to do a strength check to get you the rest of the way there.
Hey, before you go up, I'm touch you with resistant million, so just make a savings throw.
Hold on, guys. Before I get on his shoulders, would it be better for me to try to shoot my arrow and get a rope purchased in there? I could shoot it actually over the bridge, because it doesn't.
Yeah,
It
it's only
launches
20
5
feet.
Well,
or even into the bridge.
Oh, but my rope. I'd have to use somebody else's rope because my rope is already secured on the wall.
I have my rope available still, right?
I really don't want to take falling damage again.
Well, what about just tying a rock around the rope?
And just
around-
throw it.
Throw it, yeah, so we don't have to waste your arrows.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Who's got the rope?
Bal's
Tie a little rope. All right, who's
Okay.
doing the tying?
I'll go ahead and tie the rope.
Make
No, I'll
a
let you throw
survival
it too.
check for me,
Or
please.
Wait, no, I've got to make the. Oh wait, no. Yeah, I'll let you throw it because you're a strong guy.
Sorry.
Okay. 18, perfect. So you were able to tie it around with deftness. Something that you were familiar with before, doing kind of like a monkey fist type knot around it.
Okay, I'm gonna get up to around here. Can someone follow me with the torch? Make sure I can see, please.
Yes,
Come on,
I have,
Zedek.
I have the torch.
Somebody needs to heal Zedek too. He's like half health.
And then I'm just gonna go and try
Only
and
a
toss.
flesh wound.
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna try and toss it right about there on that side on the rope.
Okay. Go ahead and do an athletics.
17.
Perfect. So you start lassoing it, and you throw it, and it goes a little high, bounces off the ceiling, and then it makes it on the other side of the. You see it dangling on the other side.
All right.
Good
I'm
throw.
just gonna go under the bridge real quick and go and grab it and just hold it.
Okay.
So it doesn't go anywhere.
And then I'll go ahead and clamber up it.
Maybe. I can't get exact.
Okay. So you're gonna just grabbing onto it, pulling, and then Balasar, you're just gonna hold onto it, or are you gonna try pulling and?
I'll
tie
pull it
around
from
your
my.
waist.
I'll pull it from my end to pull him up quicker because I don't. Is there anything I can tie it to on this?
Not where you're standing. No. Right now, that's all really smooth area. It's very eroded from the water.
So I'll just hold the rope and pull the rope as he's climbing up to make him get up there faster.
Okay.
Or try to.
Okay. So this is gonna be a combined. Both of you roll a strength check, please.
All right. Oops, sorry.
That's okay. We'll take the first one. That's okay. Perfect 20. Won't matter. Steve tries to pull on it, and Balasar, without him even knowing, Balasar is just like, and then just landed, lands on top of the bridge, really confused at what's going on here. And then Balasar is looking up at him, and he puts him a thumbs up and a ting in his eye. Ting. Classic anime style.
Alright.
Okay.
We shouldn't take damage this time.
Nope, didn't take damage this time. Because it wasn't really a fall. It was more of a... You came up and on your chest.
Does this bridge not only go one way?
Mm-mm. So,
like,
from where Clandon is...
What do you see?
I'll describe this to you, because if you move,
really
it'll
see
be kind of weird.
anything.
So, from where Clandon is, up to the left... If I move you here, can you see?
Yeah, I can see this.
Okay,
cave
so
turn
there's a cave that
back
goes
around.
up and wraps around. It seems to go back the other direction.
Like I had described earlier, it's leading to that room with the goblins.
Yep. So he sees that, and then on the other side, he sees another cavern.
Just another path heading.
Yep. It's pretty thin. It's probably 5-6 feet across. It's been tunneled, so this is not your typical eroded self. This has been deliberately made, just like the bridge that's been created for it.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Okay, so I mean, at this point, we can go 2 on 5 against those goblins, or we can try to get everybody up on this bridge, and go down the.
What do I see from my end of things here?
Okay, so from where Balasar's sitting, he looking upriver, he can see basically what the top of where the river is. There's a much larger cave down the way. There is there's a stairway, like a rough eroded stairway that kind of goes up to the right, and the higher it gets, the less eroded it becomes, and you can see it's more deliberate. There's not really any light there. As far as you can see, but as far as the torchlight can kind of glean, you can tell that there was something recently. This may have been the source or one of the sources of where that flood came from.
All right.
But you can't see a whole lot because it's pretty
I've got
dark.
a possible idea.
What's that?
We could get one more person up here with a longbow or crossbow, somebody with range. And have 2 people on this bridge, and we could try to what do you call it? Not a distraction, but we could try to get the goblins
Try
to
to
come
lure
down
them out?
the room, lure them out. Because getting to them, it's gonna be just 1 or 2 of us at a time against 5, or we can try to get them out to the open here and take care of them that way.
Okay.
If we position ourselves first.
I'm good with that plan. Do we want to get everybody up on the bridge then? I can stay here holding the rope You guys can pull them up.
We can probably maybe fit 3 of us up here.
Okay.
Otherwise, we may want some down there as well. I mean, they could come towards the bridge from in the tunnel, or they could come out to the water. We don't know. What do you guys think?
I could go up in there and like wave at them and say hello, and then run.
That could work, but I think we should try to get you healed up first.
Hello!
Do you have a healing potion, or do you need me to do Oleana hands?
I do not have any potion.
I've got a water skin.
It's up to you if you want to heal me. I'm fine either way.
Okay, I can give you 5 points if you want it.
Sure.
Oh, you don't.
How many more times can you do that?
That was the last time.
Oh boy.
Oh, I would. Oh, if you want to use the last one on
I
me.
also have 2 healing potions. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
Okay, so she, taking her clerical, she holds her holy symbol, kind of takes a moment, and you see the kind of bright radiant light of her deity that escapes me at the moment, and she puts her hand out, and you feel this warming sensation as your wounds heal over, all the scabs from being thrown in the dirt.
Okay.
I don't even know how to say my deity.
I'm so glad there's not.
Right?
There's no deficiency to having overhealed.
Right?
At this point, I believe Aurora has fallen asleep.
That's okay. So, so are we? What are you guys doing? Are you everybody pulling people up? What's the?
What do you guys say? 2 up here, 3 down there.
Yes, there's 3 people down, 4 people with
Aurora's
Balazar.
sleeping. I can either play for Aurora, or we can just let her sleep. That DM, what's your call on that?
You can play her if you want. That's fine.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna go let her get comfortable. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay, no worries.
We need at least 1 melee up top, 1 melee bottom, and then the rest of the range should be up top.
Okay.
Do we really even have 2 melees?
They usually.
I guess the Balazar and Zedek. Are you both melee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then you're our 2 choices. And right now, do we have any lighting for those 2?
Zedek, or
I have
who
a
has
torch.
it? Zedek has the torch. Yes.
Okay. So can he? Is there a place near him? Like, is there anywhere he could stick that torch so he could actually be in melee, or?
Yeah. I'm sure I can stick it somewhere.
Yeah, you could
I
pick some.
don't know, because we're like in this smooth pathway, so I'm not. I don't know.
Well, if I'm up top, I only have to worry about putting the torch down if we actually get action up top. And I could always just lay it on the bridge. Like lay it hanging over the edge.
That's true. That might be better if you were up top, because then you could project the light down for Balazar.
Yep.
Can you see that that yellow
Yeah,
circle?
the yellow glow.
Okay, so that right there will show you exactly how far your torch is. How far the light will reach.
Whoa. We're seeing double vision.
Double vision.
Oh, it's so weird.
Okay. Perfect. All right, so everybody's getting up.
Hey, Balazar, throw me up there.
I'm holding the rope on the other side here, so
I know.
Okay, so I'll have you scamper up there. You get up, no problems.
Try throwing him up. Oh, okay.
Then Fina, are you going up or are you staying down?
How many are on top? Just 1?
Right now there's 2. Clandon and Zedek.
I'm sorry, just 1 range.
We need at least 1 more up here.
I will go on up.
Okay, Zenfina, get up. Aurora is at the ready down here. Balazar, what are you guys doing with the extra rope?
Okay, yeah. So
You don't have to.
And if I didn't say it earlier, you picked up your javelin out of that dude's body. I'm pretty sure we already resolved that.
Yep. I'm just gonna. I'll untie the rope from the rock and tie it around my hand, and
You do like a swinging drop kick.
Are we all getting up on the bridge?
There's 3 of you on the ridge, and 2 of them down below.
How sturdy is the bridge? Pretty sturdy?
It's basic goblin. As far as you can tell, it's your typical, miner's handiwork. It's very utilitarian, very roughly hewn. Not really pretty, but it's functional. It's enough to hold people's weight. It wouldn't give you any issues.
Just checking.
right. So you guys gonna bring him to us there, and 2 of us are gonna stay on the ground.
Wait, I thought Zedek was gonna bring him from.
Yeah, he's on top. He can run down that hallway.
Oh, we're gonna bring him across the bridge. I thought we were gonna bring him towards the water. Then we got the shooting advantage up on the bridge, a height advantage.
Yeah.
So then maybe Aurora needs to go.
Yeah, we'll send Aurora.
I thought we had
Okay.
voted like I shouldn't go.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so Aurora goes, and she's gonna try and climb up that thing. Yes, that shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And
so
she's gonna get their attention, waggle her tail at them, and then.
okay, so she's going to, as she's climbing up
No,
this.
she speaks to them, so she's gonna say something very, very offensive.
Okay, extremely offensive. So Aurora, as she's climbing up, go and have her roll a athletics check, please.
I would have tried to act as like a guard, like that they messed something up and had to come out there, so they have no idea what's going on. But that's okay.
Okay, so she rolls a 5. So she's trying to get up. She's not really getting any purchase.
It's a 9.
She's not getting a lot. Oh, sorry, you're right. Yeah, it's a 9. So she's getting up there. She's not getting a lot of purchase. The rocks are crumbling around her. It's basically your typical trying to climb a sand dune type scenario. With it 1 step forward, the sand slides down, and she's just kind of having that kind of trouble with this getting it there. Does she want to try it again?
Yeah, she keeps trying.
She's gonna keep trying.
Slowly but surely.
Okay, so with that, she's gonna move 5 feet with disadvantage, or 5 feet about here. And at this point, it kind of plateaus a little bit, but it still has a little bit more of an incline to get up the rest of the way. Let's go ahead and have her roll another athletics. Okay, 10. Okay, she makes another 5 feet without incident.
Can any noise from them? Do I hear anything from the cave right now?
Roll a stealth check. We'll see if they notice you yet. She definitely hears kind of the sounds of goblin merrymaking. Basically, she can hear the voices of 3 or 4 goblins, talking around what she can only assume to be a fireplace. She can smell the aroma of some kind of cooking meat. The simmering of what either a coney or, who knows, maybe it's last person that they found on the highway.
Okay.
Or the last adventurer that decided to climb up this hill.
Do I need to roll again to get up
Yep.
the rest of the way?
Yep, roll again. One more time. Unless you roll a 1. Okay, so she at this point crests the top of the hill. At this point, there was a lot of rocks and pebbles rolling down. At this point,
Oh boy, there are a lot of goblins.
she's being pretty stealthy. What Aurora sees from her perspective as she peers into the room, there are exactly 5 goblins sitting around a campfire. Each of them, there's a bedroll nearby, your typical refuse heap that you'd find in a goblin pit, where there's just picked bones, leftover just trash, things that they've kind of had there. And then to her left, she can see just barely a cliffside. It's about 10 feet high, and on top of it, there's another goblin that seems to be carry himself with an air of a higher importance, and he's not really mingling with the other goblins. But at this point, she can definitely see what's in that room, and at this point, they haven't quite taken notice of her because of her stealthiness, thanks to her ranger abilities. What you want to do?
Let me think a second. I'm thinking of getting their attention by shooting one of them in the head. And then saying something nasty.
You
Something
can.
about their mother. For sure.
Your mother was an inbreed with an elf.
What that's that's after.
Or a dwarf. That'd be immersed.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, dwarf, because that's their enemies.
That's after I shoot though. I'm gonna shoot that dude with the fist on his. Wait, how high did you say that cliff was?
That's 10 feet high. So from
That's
your
not too
position, if you're using your longbow, he's gonna have partial cover. So it means you're gonna be shooting at disadvantage because he's up on the cliff.
I'll just go for the closest guy who just seems the most merry guy.
Okay, so they're sitting there.
Best friend to
They
everybody.
seem to be trading, like just whatever goblins talk about around the campfire. The last game that they killed, and she overhears that one of them saying something about, we found a great catch, and he'll bring a high price. And then just typical goblin chatter. So go ahead if you want to take an attack on the closest goblin. 13. 13, do it with advantage.
Oh.
Is your stealth.
Because you're stealth, and this is technically a surprise attack. I'll take the left one, and it just hits. So go ahead and roll for damage.
I say my curse at him.
So how do you want to do this? Explain to me. First, how he dies. Then second, what are you saying to him?
10 damage?
So-
Whoa.
So it literally goes right through his chest, through his heart, and goes through, and his buddies and he makes this terrible startling sound, not like a dying sound, but just startling
He kind of grabs his
startled
throat,
noise.
thinks it's
And he-
heartburn.
And he grabs at his heart and looks down and sees the arrow, looks at his buddies who look at him, and they see the arrow, and they're all just startled, and then they see me, and that's when I shake my booty and say my curse at them about their mother, and then I'm gonna hightail it down this hill again, sliding nice. It's nice and gravelly, so
Yep.
I'm gonna slide my way down there.
Okay, so if you're gonna slide haphazard, so we'll do this. Go ahead. This guy's dead. These guys are startled all the crap. They have no idea what just happened. His buddy falls face first in the flames.
Does it look like I got their attention?
Yes, definitely got their attention. Venfina, what are you doing?
I was like,
Well, we
Benfina,
can't
you're in the
see.
way.
She can fly. Okay, so what you guys, and that's part of the thing is if you guys don't see, then it helps to keep the player characters knowing what's not theirs.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the mystery.
So he or she, Aurora, at this point, deftly firing in the back of the goblin's head. Go ahead and make a acrobatics check.
Dang, I was hoping you killed him instantly, but take another shot.
Right?
'Cause they have no idea what they have no idea what happened.
Yeah. So technically, you're in a surprise round. So at this point, they have no way to react to what you're doing.
But they know what I've done.
Yes, they are aware of your presence
I
now.
probably should have taken an attack. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
good. It's good.
I'm a little nervous.
It's fine. You play your
Oh,
character.
is that an advantage? Should I?
I'll just take the left. It's fine. So at this point, you took a 21. So, Aurora at this point, doing her little booty shake, and can't get me. She does a full-on Legolas shield slide, just down, as she starts this little bit of a mini landslide, taking no damage, hitting the bottom.
Cackling on my way down.
Cackling on her way down. So as all you guys see is just this plume of smoke just come billowing into the room, and then Aurora just sliding on her heels and then deftly landing on her feet, looking up at you guys, and then getting ready to book at your direction. So at this point, everybody's going to need to roll for initiative.
Initiative?
You're going to hear, as she's running away, you're going to hear a voice of a goblin. It's going to be a little different than the other goblins, and it's like, and essentially saying, you know, get her. And now we're going to get her done.
Keep double clicking things here.
We see you're in it. Not that it matters.
That should be fine. Okay, so all the goblins have rolled. Everybody else rolled? Yes.
I think so.
Okay. All right. So first, what's going to happen is Balasar. You're going to be heading us up.
All right, so I'm still below the bridge. I don't even know what's going on at this point. I'm just sitting here idly, right?
Yep.
Can I give them a quick update of what I just did?
I'll permit it. I'll permit it as you're running up. You can be communicating.
What happened? It took a little bit getting up there. But I got my arrow and I shot him.
They bust the cap. They bust the cap in his head.
You wouldn't believe what I just told them. They're coming. Trust me.
Okay. So you guys are now aware that there are goblins en route. Not sure how many, but you know that at least one of them's dead.
Hey Zedek, make sure you're looking in that other cavern there.
So can I? So I have one end of the rope. Where's the other end?
The other end is by Aurora. It's just dangling there.
Can I request Zedek to pick up that end of the rope and drop it at this end of the bridge here, and then I'm gonna go run up to this end and go underneath the bridge and grab it both, so it's kind of like a tripwire kind of thing.
Yes. If you want to suggest it, if Zedek agrees, I'll let you hold your action until after his turn, and then that would combine the both of your actions.
I got a few seconds. Zedek, that's my plan. Can you would you be able to do that, or do you think we have enough time to do that?
I got time for that.
Okay.
I got time.
All right, so let's go ahead and his turn's next anyway, Preston. So
okay, perfect.
So we find that as our turns here, where we manage and set up a tripwire there at that end of the bridge.
Yep. So at this point, Zedek, go ahead and do a survival check for me, please. I just want to see if your guy would be deft enough to find the purchase in the rocks. So Zedek, he kind of finds, places on the bridge, puts it together. It's kind of haphazard. It'll probably trip up a small creature, but it's gonna pay more of a toll, or it's gonna be harder for Balasar to hold it, if that makes sense. It's gonna be working against him instead of something that's like a well-oiled machine, if that makes sense. But there is now a makeshift tripwire.
So if that's the case, could we maybe have it where he makes it into like kind of like a little noose, call it a snare. Make it a snare on there that I could pull down if something steps into it.
You guys
adjust it to that.
If you yeah, okay, I'll let it go. I'll do it this time. Okay, so it's you're thinking like not a tripwire, but just like a
snare,
loop-de-loop. They step in it. Okay.
Or they give me the signal, I pull it, kind of thing.
Okay, so you hear the shouting. Balasar, you've completed your turn. Zedek, you've completed your turn. Yep. Any minor actions?
I just tell them, let me know when pull it.
Okay. and you're gonna hear in the back of the cave. You hear this, just kind of a lot of hustle and bustle, and you see as it crests around the corner, a goblin comes into view, and at this point, the goblin, seeing Zedek. Being the first person that he calls out to the goblins behind him. He says, this way. Aurora can hear this and understand it. The rest of you just kind of see by his actions. You kind of get the gist of it. He knows where you're at.
Are they coming to the bridge? Because again, we can't see that cavern there, so we don't know where they're at.
Yeah. So let's see. Can you see from there? When he's right there. Oh, you're right. Let's see. So
It's like blocked.
how do I do this? Let me see. 1 second.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking we should have kept the security rope there to jump down from the bridge if we need to.
Okay. Can you guys see now?
I guess 20 feet jump might not be too bad.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can see much better.
Okay.
That's a lot better.
So I just delete. I figured it out. I have to delete those things. Okay. Cool. So.
Okay, Google.
Go back to the proper... There we are. Okay, so this goblin turns around. He looks at you, Zedek. He's going to go ahead and try and make his initial attack. He's going to try and make his... He pulls out his scimitar. He's just going to be coming full bore at you. At this point, he's going to roll his dexterity saving throw. That's a 6. So his foot's ensnared in it. You can't necessarily trip it yet till your turn, but his foot is currently in the loop for what you have there. He's going to continue his attack at the halfling with the scimitar. And your AC 13, so it's 14, so it just hits, and you take 6 slashing damage. So he brings an arc, comes down angrily, really ticked off. Aurora said some really nasty things about his mom, his aunt, something about a dwarf.
Should I be able to see the rolls you're doing with the goblins?
No, right now they're just GM rolls. He rolled a 14, if you're curious. They are rolling ridiculously high on those damages. It was a 1d6 that he's rolled, and he rolled a 6. Okay, so Zedek takes a hit at this point. Where is my... Oh, it's over here. That's what I get for moving my panels around. So that goblin completes his turn. Goblin number 2, he comes around the corner, seeing what's going on. He can't really... This cavern's a pretty good choke point. He can't really get around to him. But he's going to ready his bow, trying to take a kind of a higher long shot. He's going to try and shoot. He can't see Zedek because the goblin's about the same height as him, but he can see the people behind him. He sees Clandon and... Is that Venfina? Yeah, Venfina. I'm going to say Venfina's closer. So at this point, he shoots, and for all intents and purposes, you guys are in a line on the bridge. So he's going to shoot.
Hold all, you can drag the person.
Ah, there we go. So it takes it off. All right,
Yeah,
so
it ungrids.
perfect. That's good to know. Okay, so he shoots his longbow, trying to hit Venfina. Try his short bow, not longbow. Venfina, yes, 22 is going to hit. So that's another 5 piercing. Holy crap, they're rolling high on damage.
Yeah, these early ones are rough.
Jeez.
It's
ridiculous. So he pulls back with his crude short bow, and you just hear thunk as it hits Venfina. Venfina takes that damage. You hear in the back, just kind of more yelling. This next goblin, he is not entering the fray, but you do hear him shouting orders and, bring them back, and I want their heads. Blah 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 blah. Venfina, it's now your turn.
Well, you know I'm gonna retaliate.
Okay.
Let's see. So
She's like, get out of the way, Zedek. Punch. Ah!
I would have disadvantage on my heavy crossbow, I presume. They're so close?
No. They have to be within 5 feet. He is 10 feet away. So you're just out of range.
I'm gonna shoot him with my heavy crossbow.
Okay.
After I get out of, I sidestep whichever direction. I can't really tell on the map.
That's fine.
Sidestep to not be in line with my companion.
Okay.
I sidestep and shoot. Boom.
Are you shooting the one in front or the one in back?
The one in front.
Okay, so you go ahead and make your attack.
Nice.
Okay, that definitely hits.
That's gonna pierce through to the other one.
Yeah.
Right?
It's possible. Depends on how much damage she does.
It is a bolt.
Unfortunately, not enough damage to hit 2.
Well, I only rolled what? A D8 anyway. 1d8.
So Venfina, she pulls up at the ready. She gets her crossbow, hones it in, steps to the side, and just, for that moment of coolness, she takes in her breath, lets it out, and hits the goblin straight in the chest, knocks him clean on his back, and his foot is no longer in the little loop-de-loop, but he is prone, dead on the ground.
Booyah.
Hey, you're welcome.
And now they have to walk over his body to get to us.
Yep.
Disadvantage.
So I'll be tripping all over bodies. All right, so the next... do you have any minor actions, Venfina?
Nope. I'm gonna stick her.
Take a knee.
Take a knee.
I'm gonna go prone.
Shoot him in the knee.
I follow.
Okay, so next goblin comes around. Again, this is super congested. He's going to attempt to make a acrobatics check to push his goblin buddy out of the way. Or to just basically get over him. Because at this point, there's an animosity. They're not a hugely... as far as goblins as you've seen them so far, they are not a militant force where they're super disciplined. They're all kind of haphazard and a little more, off the hip kind of dudes. So this guy rolls. This one's a little different. So that's going to be, I'm going to say dexterity.
Yeah.
His dexterity, he rolled a 16 with a 15 DC. Okay, so he is able to make it over this other goblin. And he's going to basically be straddling this other goblin. I'm going to move this dude up so it's out of my way. There we go. Okay, so the other dead goblin's still there. He's just straddling him, coming over the top. He sees the...
Is his foot in the loop now?
Oh, that's a good question. With a... We roll another. This is going to be wisdom because it's going to be his passive perception. Oh, he sees it. So he sees the loop and he sidesteps it. He's just kind of like, I see what's going on here. I'm not going to, fall for such a stupid trap. So he steps to the side of it. He's not really alerting any of the other guys, but he's going to step to this other side. Rip. And he's going to be trying to shoot at Venfina. He sees Zedek, but he's small enough that he doesn't see him as a huge threat. So he sees Venfina with the big crossbow, and he saw how much just decimation that he just did to that other goblin. So he's going to try and get retaliation. He's going to try and shoot a bow at her.
I'm gonna shrug my shoulders like, what? Come at me.
Come at me, bro. Come at me. I gotta quit closing that dang window. Okay, so 8. That does not hit. So, with Venfina's armor, she's ready for this. He shoots. She takes her crossbow and just slaps the arrow, steps to the side, and then it goes off, hits the rock behind her. Totally deflects the ball. Clandon.
All right, let's get that bow ready and take this guy out too.
All right, so you pull out your bow, and right now, Venfina or Zedek is going to have to do a dexterity saving throw if you shoot.
That's why I told you to take a knee.
I can handle it. Maybe.
If you're shooting at Zedek, I'll give Zedek advantage because he's short.
Whoever's in the way of that closest guy.
Right now, that's
I don't wanna
Venfina.
I'll do Venfina. I don't want to hit Zedek. He's already lost him.
Roll a 1. Zedek's dead.
With your rolls.
Right? Okay, go ahead. Roll attack. Rebecca, roll a dexterity saving throw.
You can roll for Aurora, but you can't roll for yourself.
That's true. That's true. 13. Dexterity save. 16. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead and shoot.
the arrow comes past her. She deflects it. She sees another arrow go right back from its place. The goose feathers just brushing past her cheek. And go ahead and roll for damage. Or have you rolled your attack?
Rolling.
Okay.
Really?
Goes past her, and it hits the other dead goblin.
Did you do something to my guy?
No, but it's funny. So you just see this the guy that's already dead. The one goblin looks at you, and he's just like, how dare you? Like he was one of my dearest friends, and we're war buddies. I can't believe it. So
shoot a man when he's already down.
I know. He was an adventurer like you once until he took an arrow. So at this point, it is now Goblin. This last Goblin, he comes around the corner, and he just sees bodies all over the place. He doesn't know what's going on. So he's going to hold his action. He's going to hold his action until... He's just going to hold his action.
The goblin at the top that you're talking about?
He's this guy in the back.
If you mouse over the turn order for it'll highlight the.
Oh,
The square, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's up there. So he's going to ready. He's not going to hold. So he's just going to ready for dodging. Much like, anyone else that's going to come up to up into a battle, he's just going to ready himself, waiting for the people in front of him to fall so he can be the next one to attack. Aurora.
Well, she's down there. I don't know if she can.
She can barely see the one goblin, but he's in probably 3/4 cover.
So I'd be shooting at a disadvantage.
Yes.
Well, but I don't think anybody's in line of sight from our end, so nobody should be in danger, right?
Correct. She could shoot
seen
without
4.
disadvantage.
So there's 2 left that you've seen up in the area.
Yeah, there's
One of them he also killed in that other area.
True.
So I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a disadvantage shot at him.
Okay.
At him.
Go for it. Okay, so 13 with a disadvantage. So she shoots at it, and kind of when she's shooting up high, it goes past the goblin and hits the ceiling splinters. That particular arrow hit the rock hard enough that it broke.
Okay.
All right. Does she want to do any minor actions?
No.
She can move or any of that stuff.
I don't know any ideas, guys. Just chill there and
I
keep
have
an eye
some
out.
ideas, but I probably shouldn't say it.
I'm just gonna keep an eye on that other passage and see if anybody comes that way.
Okay. So next, it's
How was
Balasar.
your view down that passageway?
All right.
Clear so far.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and. So this goblin right here is still in the snare, right?
No, the one stepped past and the other one died. So he when he fell prone,
so
the trap's still there.
All right, so I'm just gonna. Can I go ahead and climb up the wall, then drop the rope and just start climbing up the wall for my action, try and get up there?
Yeah.
With
Go
it?
ahead and do a strength check.
You could probably even use the rope because the body, the other guy that's dead, was inside the snare.
Okay. So from 12, yes, I believe that makes the DC. So you're able to move. Just you're cresting the top of it. It was a little harder than you would have expected, so it expended your movement.
Right. So I think that would
I'd
be.
say
my
you can be like right
action
there.
again. So I think that's all I can do this time.
Mhm.
Somebody still has the torch up here, right? Zedek has it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Zedek.
Oh. Well, I'm trying to think. It's like, do I throw the torch at the one guy and hope to light the other guy's body on fire to keep the light there, and then while he's distracted, throw a dagger at his face? I think that's what I want to do.
Okay. So let me think. The fire for it to do damage I'd probably have to count that as the major action. You could try and catch him on fire and then have an improvised like 1d4. Or you can do it with your dagger. That's up to you.
Heat the dagger up with the flame.
Oh, I was thinking about lighting the dead body on fire.
If you're just casting it aside, yeah. I mean, if you want to cast it down and then toss it onto the goblin next to him.
Yeah, because that will also kind of smoke screen the hallway.
Okay. So you throw the torch down. Goblin begins to catch fire. Their clothes mostly made of like furs and hairs and hides.
Stinks.
So you get a little bit noxious fumes of just unwashed, unbathed, nasty goblins and the burning flesh.
You want to bring some dinner?
And then go ahead and go ahead and make your attack on the goblin.
That's dexterity, right?
It depends.
It's throwing.
If you're throwing, I believe since it's a finesse weapon, you can use strength or dexterity. That's up to you.
I'm gonna use dex. Oh, that's.
No, you have to. It's on.
I
your
didn't.
then.
If you want, just roll it, and then we'll just change the modifier. The other way to do it is if you go into the actual item and the attack. Let's see, +2. It doesn't tell me which proficiency it is.
No, that's his actual proficiency bonus.
Oh, so it's +2. It was a 1. Okay, so you try and go to attack at him. You swing at him, but it's still a little bit. The fumes of the goblins got you a little bit off canter. Your usual sense of smell of just being in communing with nature, it just kind of gets you a little off canter, and you just can't quite do it. Okay, so do you want to do anything with your movement, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to back away.
Okay, go ahead and back away. How far do you want to go? Okay. So he goes through, nimbly going to the side of Infina, and then Clandon. He does a Dukes of Hazzard slide between your legs, ending up right behind you. And Zedek, as you're doing that, you hear a few voices down the cavern behind you.
Oh, great.
Wait, no. You don't, because you threw the you don't have that square anymore. Let me get rid of that. Just kidding.
I don't have that square anymore.
You don't have the light.
Oh, but how does that stop me from hearing?
It's not that you didn't hear it; it's they didn't see
They
you
didn't notice.
because you didn't have the light with you.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So next up,
The lights.
Goblin.
The lights over on the guy's body.
Yeah. This goblin's a little surprised. He sees Balasar tromping up the side of the cavern. He throws a 1-year-old fit, as you know goblins often do, and
Dude, that's gonna do a lot of damage. Careful, dude.
he's gonna try and swing his scimitar. He's gonna be kind of trying to. Well, no, he can't because of the fire. So the fire's gonna be a little bit blinding him. So I'm gonna have him actually shoot his short bow at Balasar with disadvantage because the flames suddenly brighten his eyes. I always close that stupid freaking window. Okay. So he shoots, and with disadvantage, it's a 19, so it does hit. He takes 7 piercing damage. Redonkulous.
Balazar did?
Balasar did, yes.
How much?
7.
Oh, jeez.
1d6 plus 2. It's ridiculous. But being a large dragonborn and he hit, it hits him, but at this point he just kind of gets a nice snarl on his face, seeing that the heat of battle's in front of him. You hear more.
You said I took how much?
That was 7.
Did we bring any L?
So you hear anybody in the back. You hear more yelling down the thing. None of you can really understand it. It's kind of distant, but you hear more yelling. In Goblin. Benfina, it is now your turn.
Okay, so nobody is currently in front of me except for goblins, correct?
You are correct.
And the one in front of me is caught on fire.
No. The dead one.
There's one behind him.
You can't see it right now, but it's a dead guy next to
Oh,
him.
because he stepped over his friend. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna shoot him with my crossbow.
Okay, go ahead and fire. No pun intended, but do. Oh, why it keeps disconnecting from the video chat. Okay, 14 just hits.
Should be a hit.
So you smacked him. Go ahead and do your heavy crossbow damage.
Nice.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. So this one, the goblins. She pulls up again, does another one of those, cool shots, and you see this just first goblin down, second goblin embeds the bolt right in its chest. The first goblin takes 7 points of damage. The second goblin takes the remainder. First goblin dead. Second goblin.
He falls on the burning.
I ain't messing around. We're here for mission. Focus.
Okay, so the other goblin's looking really rough. You hit him hard enough that he did drop his bow. And his left arm seems to be really, really beat up to the point of where he's going to be at disadvantage if he tries to shoot something with it. Okay. Next goblin. That goblin, he shakes his fist at you from the grave. So it's Clandon's turn.
All right, Mr. Goblin. Let's see if we can hurt this guy this time.
Don't kill Balasar.
Don't roll on that one.
Yes.
Ooh, there you go.
Crit.
That's a crit. Okay. Go ahead and make your fire.
Yes.
Bazinga. Okay. So.
Make fun of my rolls now.
All right. So, Clandon, being in the woods and being adept at hunting, he's found some really creative ways. Bastion. No. Sorry, dog was eating some. Bad boy. No. He's very adept to this, and he came up with this trick. And so he decides that he wants to try and unveil this trick to the rest of you. So he takes the Zero back, breathes, fires, and then it flies right past Balasar, ricochets off the wall, hits the goblin right through the throat, and then pegging the one behind him as well, killing both of them. Both of the one goblin crumples. Yes.
They're all dead. All the ones we see are dead.
That's 2 half men.
Because it was a crit, it's a lot more fancy. Okay, so you've disposed of everything there. The one goblin's still smoldering. There's this faint perfume of noxious death in the air. And you still hear Goblin in the distance shouting. Coming from the northeast. Sorry, northwest.
Preston.
Yeah.
How do you turn the grid off?
Turn the grid off. Hold Alt. What do you guys want to do at this point? Right now, combat is paused. I'm gonna keep the same turn orders, but the combat's paused.
I don't have Alt, baby.
I want to start going up the tunnel there.
Okay.
I think Aurora, she's kind of bored down on the ground there, so she's gonna actually try to flank them by going back the way she had come. Since they decided not to come that way, she might have to taunt them some more.
Okay. Based on last roll and because it's kind of flattened it out, go ahead and just do a single acrobatics. Or athletics. I'm sorry, not acrobatics.
How far can I move up here?
You can move as far as you and your party want.
I'm gonna keep doing that.
It's okay. 23. She makes it straight up. She just lightly. She sees now that this is a shelf that's very precariously made, and it could be used as a trap. She's done it before, so she's really light on her feet and doesn't have any issues with it. So Balasar moves forward, sees Aurora peeking around the corner. Venfina, Clandon, are you guys following? Then you choose Eddic.
Yep.
All right, so everybody's coming in. Aurora, she has full view of the now empty room with a single goblin up on the top of the hill. And he's.
I can see something else off to the side of him.
Okay, so you see what Aurora sees is a crumpled up body of a humanoid figure. Not really sure what it is at this point, but she definitely sees something up there.
Do we have light or no light?
Right now the torch has been expended in the burning
campfire.
corpse of the goblin.
What about the campfire?
There is the campfire, yes. You can see the campfire illuminates. This room is pretty much lit up except for probably some of the very back corners.
Good.
But you can see him sneering down at you, the firelight flickering on his face, and you can see the very, very grotesque features of the goblin Yimik.
What's this symbol stand for on that guy?
Does anybody recognize it?
He's cool.
I want to go just charging into the room.
Fight the power.
Have my glaive
Fight the
forward,
power.
Looking for another enemy to get, take my rage out on.
Okay. Okay, so Balasar runs past Aurora, hits her in the shoulders. She runs past, ready for a fight. Right now, it's not we're not in an actual fighting phase. So he busts in the room. Balasar, anyone else want to make preliminary actions?
Yeah, I want to get in closer, following up
'Kay.
behind Balazar, but why can I move?
Yeah, I will be towards the front too, I guess.
Okay, so everybody's busting through.
How much can I
probably
see?
put Venfina in front
Right
of me.
now, with everybody's butts in your face, you can
nothing.
see light, but not a whole lot. Balasar and Aurora and Clandon, I think, are going to have the best viewpoint right now. Venfina's still around the corner
Can
a little bit.
Aurora move a little bit more into the cavern?
Yes, I'll permit
Room.
one. If you each can move from where you're standing currently, I'd say 15 feet, and then we'll start our phase.
Balazar, do you want to scoot in a little more, and then I can get a little better?
Because at this point, he's kind of like ready for a fight, and then as he's seeing more of you pour into the room, his eyes widen a little bit. But
Like, none of you died.
Upon
'Cause-
seeing the goblin, can I start charging at him?
yeah, do you want to use your charge? Charge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever I'm doing there.
Yeah, go ahead and bust a move. Since you're barbarian, are you raging by chance?
Yeah, because I'm in pain right now from that arrow. So unless it's
Okay.
a minute passed.
Nope, you're good. You're good. So this whole thing, you're probably on the tail end of it, but you go ahead and rush up there. Everyone else filters into the room. His eyes get wide. He sees this hulking dragonborn come up the stairs, and he kind of stumbles back a little bit. Now a little bit fearful for his life. What do you guys want to do from now? This is now into turn order. I'm going to reset the...
Okay.
Balasar, you're first.
Okay. What would that have been my action right there? Just charging up the...
No, I'm just considering that as a surprise round.
Okay. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna keep charging at him, go assaulting him, go right there and attack him with my glaive.
Okay.
So FYI, it does get +2 to damage while I'm in rage.
Okay.
All right, 6.
Okay, 6. So in your blinded rage, you take your glaive and you're going at him, and Ymik, being a deft goblin, having climbed the ranks of the goblins. Yes, his name's Ymik. You don't know this, but maybe he shouts it or something. Ymik, dirty, blah blah blah. So he moves it out of the way, just deflects it and kind of readies himself, snarls in your face. Zedek.
Okay. Probably that's all I can do this time then.
Yep.
Get him, Zamfina.
Unless you have like an action surge or a bonus action or something.
No, I don't.
Zedek, are you doing something?
At this point in time, yeah, I'm gonna try to follow after Balazar. Oh no, wait, I'm like almost dead.
Throw a dagger in his eye.
I think my dagger's still back in the other guy's body. Or not. I threw it
yeah.
and ran.
Yeah, it's still back there in the cave opening.
Do I have... What's in my backpack?
Which one is it?
It's Explorers. Info. Oh, that doesn't... Do I have javelin or anything like that? Federal, Mexican tinderbox, rations, rope. Nope. I am gonna hold my turn.
Okay, so he holds his action. I'm gonna put you right after, or right after Aurora, and then I'll put you back in your normal spot. Venfina.
Get it done.
Freaking Siege Master Venfina. Make sure, I don't know if you've counted it yet, you have expended, I think, 4 bolts now? Right? Yeah, I believe so. Not that it matters. You got 20.
4, yeah, maybe 3.
Well, the one ricochet, one into the dirt.
Well, I
Did you collect them?
picked those up because they weren't like in anyone, and that was not in combat.
Okay. So I'll say that you got two of them down, so you're, just as a note.
Actually, the server's been interrupted.
Uh-oh, mine too.
What's
Refreshing. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Go ahead with your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna shoot him. Just gonna do it.
Okay, take your shot.
Do it.
And as you guys walk in, you find another burning golem or goblin laying in the
Fantastic.
fire pit with an arrow sticking out its back.
Guys, Aurora did that.
Okay, so Venfina, you shoot, and at Ymik, he is a little more deft than the other goblins. So he seeing all the people around, his heightened awareness, the adrenaline pumping, he kind of does a matrix bob out of the way as the arrow goes and hits the wall behind him and clatters to the floor. Any minor actions, movement?
I'm not close enough to him that if I move around after my action, he's not gonna retaliate at me, is he?
No, you have to be, if you're next to him, he can
So
retaliate.
because I'm in front of Aurora. Yeah, I'm gonna sidestep.
Okay, so you do your movement. Now it's Yemik.
Done.
Yemik. Seeing everything that's going on, and this hulking, just massive dude before him, he's going to pull out his scimitar, and he's going to try and attack Balasar. So it's going to be the first one, because he's not attacking with advantage. So 15, yours is 13.
By the way.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yours is 13, your AC?
Yes.
So he does hit. This is
Okay.
damage of 6 plus 2 slashing damage.
All right. So
Wait, no, I'm sorry. Just 6, because the plus 2, he rolled technically on his other advantage roll. If he was advantage, it was a natural 20. But this one was a 15, so you're safe. It's 6.
I am knocked out at this point.
So Yemik comes down, slashes at Balasar's leg, and Balasar kind of falls to the ground, unconscious, falls backwards, and Yemik, he looks down and he goes, in the Goblin, is this the best you've got?
You have him at my bow.
And then next, Clandon. Let him meet your bow. Natural 1!
I'm shooting.
Oh.
Perfect, it hits. Roll for damage. So he's in the middle of his joyous dance. Is that the best you... Oh. And he looks down at you with just indignance. He's not... it hurt him, but he's still definitely in the fight. So he breaks off the end of the bow, or the arrow, throws it to the ground. You want to make any other movements? Or Aurora?
No, check that the batteries are not falling out a little.
I'm gonna come back here.
Okay. And then Aurora?
No.
So Aurora, she too is gonna shoot this guy.
So she draws back.
Again. Oh, where'd my character sheet go? Sorry.
This might be our first experience of a death saving throw as a party. I'm so proud.
Excited. Joey's gonna be so ticked at me if we leave it off.
If he dies. We'll have a quest to go and bring him back to life. Okay, Aurora's got 22. That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll for damage. Okay, that hits. All these freaking archers, man. Gosh. So Yemik is like, is that the... He's kind of stunned about it. And then he goes to call out again, and then the arrow just goes right up in his jaw, and you see it pop out the top of his head like a teepee hat. So you see the hair kind of move out of the way a little bit, and he looks a little confused, kind of stumbles forward, and then falls off the ledge and just crumples on the ground. And that is the end of this combat. And so at this point, Balasar did not have to make a death saving throw, but he is still bleeding out. Just a heads up.
We shouldn't waste the potions.
Let's just take a long rest.
Hey, I see some straw mats here.
Right?
We've got the dude. We should at least check on him.
Brutal.
No.
So you do have, you do notice in the midst of all this, you hear a weak voice and, hello? Hello? Is anybody there? So right now, I don't know if you guys can see him or not, but there is a guy.
I can.
Balasar could see him if he was still awake. And you guys are free to move at this point.
We can all see him because it opened up the whole room.
Okay. So you should be able to see him. You find, getting closer, Venfina, she does see that there is a man who's bound with these crude ropes. He looks like he's been beaten up pretty solidly. And can you roll, everyone who is talking to him, looking at him, whatever, do an investigation check for me, please. Okay. Okay, so the guy doesn't look that familiar to you, but knowing that you're looking for someone, he's obviously not Aurora, on the other hand. Turns the tides of battle. So you all kind of roll up. You're not really sure, but Aurora, she looks up and she sees these beaten and tattered clothes, and she recognizes a on the breastplate, or right here on the chest of his actual tunic, that's just tattered and smeared with blood and just dirt, and it's been really well worn. A familiar sigil that she found on a horse's saddle earlier, that she remembers belonged to a Sildar Hallwinter, one of the companions of Mr. Gundren Rockseeker.
Might you be Sylvan?
That I am. I apologize. Who do I have the acquaintance? He's still very weak from battle. He's got a very broad, strong chin. Normally, he would carry himself very strongly, but he's been without food and water for a long time. Looks to have been beaten.
I am abroad. We have come to see you guys.
Love it. Okay. And so he says, "Oh, who sent you?"
I don't remember his name.
It's okay. The innkeeper. Let me pull it up for you.
He doesn't remember his name either.
The innkeeper that sent you at Barthen's Provisions.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. All right, so he says, "Oh, thank you. I apologize. I'm normally much better for wear. It's been a very long trip. How did you find this place?"
We found your dead horses and found a trail leading here.
Wow, that's. I think he starts coughing. Do you have any water? I apologize. He starts to just kind of cough and hack a little bit.
Yeah, we got a water skin.
Balasar, can you make a death saving throw?
I definitely can.
Should we have healed him by now?
That is a failure.
That is a failed death save. He's got 2 more before he permanently dies.
Guys, someone heal him. Can we heal him before he dies?
Just as a heads up.
What if he takes a rest? If he takes a rest, won't he?
Someone has to stabilize him first, though. He can't just be bleeding out and then suddenly get better. He's not the hound.
I don't want to waste a potion.
I had berries.
Okay, he's got good berries.
I got good berries. I will give him at least one. Try to
Okay,
stabilize him.
and that gives him 1 hit point, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he goes ahead and pops a good berry in Balasar's mouth. Balasar kind of unconscious, starting to choke on it a little.
I take his jaw and come on.
Okay. All right, stroking his throat. Come on.
Yeah, there's my berry icon.
He's got his berry icon. And then Zedek realized, trying to this is Balasar we're talking about. Sees that he has his flask at his side, takes the flask, dumps a little in his mouth, comes sprightly right back up.
Rush it down. Good. That's a good dragon.
Okay, so Balasar is now stabilized. No longer near the death.
I say we investigate the area, find out more information on this dude, and go for a rest.
Great.
Am
Okay.
I supposed to keep count of my berries?
You can create on the side.
3.
You can create if you go on your character sheet.
My
this.
bio underneath the treasure area.
Clicking. Sorry, I've got a ton of things I gotta scroll through.
Oh, I
Okay.
have 2 berries.
So on yours, when your character sheet on core. Do you see on the core sheet in here? There's a place that says other resources. Do you see where I'm clicking? There, I'll put it in there. You said there's 3 total.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Well, I had 3. I gave him 1. So I'm down
Okay, so on the
to-
right,
I see it.
I just put it in there. You can hit the plus sign and you can add more of those. So if you ever have anything you need to keep track of, like your wild shape and things like that, you can add that kind of stuff in there. So your wild shape, I think, comes at level 2, but it's in there. Okay, all right. So so at that point, beginning to question and talk with him, gets his bearings a little bit better. He starts to elaborate on what befell him and his traveling companion, Gundren Rockseeker, and that's where we're going to end it tonight. Ba-da-da-da!
Well, can we like have a long rest or something?
Yes. As you're in there, you can be taking a long rest. Before we completely finish, I'm going to just kind of lump it all in so we don't forget about it. Zedek, you got your dagger back? From back there. Is anybody else who has expended ammo? Go ahead and do a roll 20 for me, a 1d20.
Everyone who expended ammo?
Yes, everyone who shot an arrow or bolt.
Ow, Penny.
7. Venfina, you get half of the arrows you shot back rounded down. Same with Aurora.
What does that mean?
So if you shot 4 arrows, you get 2. If you shot 3 arrows,
Rounded down.
then you round down, you get 1 arrow back.
Alright.
So if there's a half, it always rolls to the lower. Does that make sense? So just keep track of that on what your ammo is. So that's good. I'm going to delete these goblins. Clandon, did you roll? Clandon, you rolled a 10. I believe you can get all but 1 back. Okay. Because the one, excluding the one that you shot earlier that shattered or whatever.
Yeah, shattered, sure. Yeah, I've already
Yeah.
accounted for that.
Okay. Do you guys want to do any looting on these dudes before I delete them?
Yeah, loot them all.
And this can be happening while Venfina and Aurora are using their womanly finesse to extract data from Sildar.
I'm gonna make a copy. I'm gonna make a copy print on my parchment of the symbol of the hand, whatever that was on him.
Okay.
Is that just a symbol or does it mean something?
Yeah, you can copy it done. It means something.
What?
Yeah, I'm just searching all of the area, the beds, search the guys, whatever.
Okay, everyone who is looking, go ahead and make an investigation roll for me, please.
What was his name again?
Yeemik.
Yeemik.
Yeemik. And the only person I would assume it's Aurora that would had to have tell anybody because he would have said it in his. You might have been able to because he speaks in the third person, kind of like Gollum. Yeemik this, Yeemik that.
I'm just writing it down so I know the reference, not necessarily that I know his name.
Okay. Yeah, Yeemik was that guy's name. All right, so Clandon, in total, through your rummagings through the pocketses of these nasty little hobbits, you find, or not hobbits, I'm sorry, goblins. You in total find 6 gold pieces, round about 20 silver, and about 15 copper pieces total from what you find. Aurora, as she's digging through, about the same amount as she's kind of rifling through the different pockets, different stuff. She finds herself, she finds about 6 gold pieces and about 70 copper pieces total. So if you want to mark those down. Venfina, she's rummaging around. She's checking the bodies right after you have rifled them.
I'm good at investigating.
So she didn't quite catch that you were doing it. You just go. So, all right, all these goblins are now. I'm gonna get rid of them, just to get them off the map.
Not even rare loot on.
Well, there is.
one dude.
Let's see.
Can I search this one dude?
Which one, dude?
No, I was messing with the guy who just saved.
Oh, you're gonna loot Sildar? Well, from the looks of him, he doesn't have much on him, just tunic. Tunic and beat up boots. Unless you're doing a deep cavity search.
Where's my father?
Well, maybe what's your alignment? That might.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so what about the ropes?
I'm gonna leave mine there in the cave entrance.
Okay, what about the one on the bridge? Is anyone?
I'll leave it there for now.
All right. Okay, so everything's there. Everybody's gonna rest in here. Sildar and everyone is going to jump down there. Rest up by the fire. I'm going to leave Yimik there for the time being. Okay. All right, so that's where everybody's at. So while we're messing with this, there was a couple of technical issues we ran into tonight. Does anybody need help with fixing them? I know one of them I wanted to figure out is that error that it keeps giving you guys when you click on your icon and you try and do initiative. Attribute selected was not found. Selected in it. Oh, okay. I think I know what that is.
Yeah, me and Aurora both have that.
Mine was different.
Fireball!
No attribute was found.
Throw the fireball!
They might have changed some of the commands here. Because EM as or emote as doesn't work anymore. It's just EM now. So you might take the EM as out of the macro and change it to EM/EM.
Let's see. And then there's the other part too. At selected, so I'm adding their initiative bonus plus their initiative. Let's see, 1d20 plus initiative bonus plus selected in it. I think that's excess.
It should be your 1d20 plus your dexterity bonus plus your init bonus, which they should be the same thing. Init bonus and dexterity bonus.
Yeah, what's the name? Do you know what the tokenized name is? Selected pipe.
Oh, if you mouse over it, mouse over the stat, it'll tell you.
Okay, perfect.
So initiative is at
initiative
bracket.
underscore bonus.
Initiative underscore.
Okay, what's the dexterity one?
Dexterity is dexterity under mod.
DEXTER.
ITY underscore mod.
Okay, save changes now. Let's see if this works. There we go. Okay. So initiative might have been a little fudged, but it should be working now. Woohoo! Good work. All right, what else was broken so we can fix it?
Spells, I think, were broken for people.
Spells. Okay.
I don't know anything.
What I'll basically, I'm gonna give you guys a little homework, I guess, for your character. If you between now and the next time we play, which also brings up we can talk about when we want to play next. I need to post and find out when the other two dudes can, but I'm assuming the same time, same bet channel. We can do it weekly or we can do it bi-weekly. I know Sarah does she work every Saturday? Is there a way that we can make it easier on her earlier in the day, or? Because I know that sucks getting home and being tired.
3-ish, 2:30 to 3. So I don't know if we could do earlier, but
Okay.
yeah, she's struggling with the night one.
Yeah. So and I'm fine with like if there's a time on Sunday that works better if no one's working on Sunday. But we're at church. What time we go to church? At 1? Yeah, 1 to 3. Or 1 to 4. So anytime other than that, I am open to stuff. I just want to try and make it easier because I know that sucks. You know, for me, I hate getting home from work and being tired and then trying to do something. So
Yeah. We might do like we could I don't know about everybody else, but we could possibly do like a Sunday morning, unless somebody else has church during that time.
We can try.
Becca says we can try.
Oops, not
See you-
morning.
We could just put the kids in front of a movie or something.
Yeah, right.
During that time.
When?
We're seeing if maybe like a earlier morning on like a Sunday or something might be better.
Not until next year. I have it early morning.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's
so we're probably just gonna have to keep it where it's at.
so we're switched. Okay.
We could try. We could try doing earlier, maybe.
Okay. I'm totally fine. Like I said, whatever time works for you guys works for me. I only have it in the evenings because I assume there's less conflict. So whatever you guys want to do, my Saturdays are open. Okay. So what we'll do is I'll just post in the Discord. So at least once this week, just try and check Discord. We'll discuss on there.
Okay.
So that way
Along with
in
our
the
homework.
fuzzy channel. And then, yeah, the homework really is just make sure that on that, you know how we're using the simple rules or whatever? So when you go in, you click on your dude, go to your character sheet on the cog, where we switched it from compendium compatible to simple for features and traits and proficiencies in languages. If we can just get those updated so that it's using the new compendium compatible, I think it'll, in the long run, make it a lot easier for what we're doing.
And
Okay.
Joey's lucky because his sheet's all up to date already.
Yeah. Yeah, Corey went ahead and got it for him. So, and that brings us to the next thing. We all of you at this point in time will have ascended to level 2. Yep. So that means your experience points are going to be sitting right around 300. So we'll just bump those up. Doromorum Barrel Maul, he is still level 1. He is getting it at half rate. So let's see, 75 minus 300.
I'm not dropping it.
So he gets 112.
Oh, so you're actually going the XP route on that?
Kinda.
Stop whining.
So do we need to change our level, or just put 300?
Yes. No, you are do both. And the easiest way I've found, this is just personally, if you go to D&D Beyond and also do the level up there, it can walk you through the different things that entails.
Okay, yeah, well, that can be part of our homework.
Yeah. So if you need help, as always, just ping me on what's it called, on Discord. And I'm usually doing something on the computer in the evenings. So just hit me up. We can get y'all sorted out. Because Rangers isn't too crazy. I think you guys start getting possibly some spellcasting at level 2.
The druids probably.
Druids get the
There's a lot.
wild shape and a bunch of other stuff. So if you have
choose a
questions
druid
there.
circle.
Okay.
Pretty easy.
Druid
Yep.
circle.
And if you want, on D&D Beyond, if you go in there, the compendium that it has there, it includes all of the different expansions. So if you do want to look up and use something, as long as it's in it's not homebrew, whatever, just let me know if you have questions about it. Yep, everybody's up. Barrel Maul's not, but that's okay. Hopefully he will join us soon. And yeah, just do that. And that's pretty much really the homework. Just make sure your character sheets are good. And hit me up if you have questions. Gravy!
Sweet.
Good work. Good work today.
Good job tonight, guys.